YouTube.
YouTube, we love you so much. If you're a new subscriber, this is the kind of content you get up front. We talk exclusively to you before the episode starts. It's really fun.
You get a little sneak peek.
I'm drinking an Oleato cold brew from Starbucks.
I got a iced tea today because I already had a can of Kirkland coffee this morning.
Whoa, nice. What kind?
It's like, I don't know, it's just like a can of like cold brew.
Does it have like oat milk or anything in it?
No, I just drink it plain.
God damn.
I would have liked to have milk, but I don't have milk.
Okay.
So.
Did it wake you up?
I hope so.
Okay, that was your YouTube exclusive.
Our Starbucks Minute, not sponsored.
All right, we ready to go? Okay.
This one's for you tonight. Okay, let's get started. Just raise your glasses high. This one's for
Amy.
Riley.
It's turtle time again.
Wake up. Wake up. It's turtle time.
It's turtle time. Wake up. Now it's time for you all to officially wake up because turtle time just began.
Yeah, I wonder who the first person to hear this episode will be because we posted at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so it's either an West Coast early bird,
Right.
5 a.m. West Coast early bird,
Yeah.
and 8 a.m. That's more normal.
Yeah.
That's on your commute. Maybe you're on the subway in New York.
That'd be fun.
Right? Do you think anybody listens to this on the subway?
That would be so cute.
Oh, if you listen to this show on the subway as you commute to New York in the Big Apple, will you let us know?
Drop it in the comments.
That would be so fun.
We were just talking about one day will come soon. Probably next week will be the first time during the Scandival, at least the reunions since the finale, that we won't have to be hungover for this recording because we will no longer be watching in a party environment. We can get back to business.
Yes, Amy and I have been hosting huge blowout events at the it's called Junkyard Dog in Los Angeles. They have been 4 just sort of iconic watch parties, wouldn't you say?
Totally.
Some of the best events, I've ever been to in my life. But one of the side effects of it is that while we're consuming alcohol, like, I had 2 PBRs and I had a Tipsy Turtle margarita, it affects me negatively the next day.
Yeah, you're like taking a cash advance on that energy.
Yeah, but, the environment is so party-oriented that it just does want to make you sip, a little cocktail or something.
For sure.
But I think we're going to be good after this.
Yeah. We also, we'll get into it, but we went to Pride this weekend, and then we have See You Next Tuesday next week, and my body's going to begin shutting down.
Mine too. I think it'll be nice once we can focus exclusively on the podcast and our little turtle cuties and just pay attention to how much we love them, and that's the majority of our time, and we're not spread, so thin going to the biggest parties in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes you think about how impressive it was that all of the Vanderpumpers partied that hard for that long because they had to just, for their living, party like every single day.
I know. Their energy levels should be studied.
Yeah.
They can do anything the next day. Jax has talked about how he actually is not like them. He will have an energetic day, and then the next day he is just completely KO'd.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, I mean, they're doing great in terms of energy. I don't know how the hell they do.
I think they had a little boost.
I was going to say, do you think that they all pull their pants down and do B12 shots in each other's asses?
Something like that.
Do you remember that Mad Men episode?
Wait, remind me.
So Mad Men, a wonderful show. You watched it?
Yes.
Okay. There is an episode that is so fun where a doctor comes to the office to get them all pumped up and boosted up, and he starts doing B12 shots in all their asses, and they go manic, wild. Like, they're all on drugs for the day.
That sounds fun. I should rewatch. I've considered rewatching.
Oh, it's very good. So you've only done a one and done?
I think I just watched it while it was on.
Oh, there are so many beautiful moments. It is such a good rewatch. So I was just saying, I think that James Kennedy, Sheena, Lala, they go in the back room or in a bathroom, and they inject B12 shots in their asses.
All right, I'm down.
Okay.
Maybe like a steroid shot.
Yeah, we should. If we're ever having a groggy day before a podcast recording, maybe we could inject
Yeah.
B12 shots in our.
I want to, but we both have to stand behind a curtain and we'll just cut a hole in the curtain and you just stick the needle out and then we back into it so that we don't look at each other's butts.
Okay. So we'll just see one little spot of flesh, but you really won't be able to know that it's each other's ass, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Are you imagining the hole would be like pretty small, right?
A pinprick.
Okay. All right. So we wouldn't even need, or actually the B12 shot needle would just go through the curtain, so we
That's
wouldn't even
right.
need to see our asses.
Yeah, it could just break through.
That's awesome. Well, that would be, I mean, I was thinking, I'm trying to think of sponsors, obviously, because, we need to turn this into a cash cow pretty
Yeah.
soon. We're running on absolute fumes.
Yeah.
B12 shots.
Yeah. Maybe AG1.
What's that?
It's like greens, athletic greens.
Oh, is it like a powder or
I
something?
think so.
Oh, that would be so good.
I could go for that right now.
Yeah. Oh, I think we need something that perks us up and makes us feel better. That would be a
Yeah.
good sponsor.
I will say, I'm not going to give them spawn, but there's a place, like a COVID testing place down the block that also does vitamin infusions.
Oh, good.
So-
Oh, okay. Is that like a liquid IV thing?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm in. I mean, something has to change. Don't you think?
Yeah. My body, I think I sometimes take, what's it called? Lipospheric vitamin C.
Oh,
Have
okay.
you seen this?
No. Lipospheric.
It's like little packets. They're kind of expensive, but apparently a lot of celebrities use this for their travel. But it's just like gel vitamin C that you put in water, and it's like
Okay.
a glob, and you're supposed to like absorb it's like 10,000 milligrams
make you
of
feel
vitamin
better?
C. I mean, I usually take it if I feel like I'm like a little like my immune system feels downtrodden, or if I'm traveling, or if I'm going to be drinking. I think it might help. I don't know. It's hard to say, but at least placebo makes me feel like I'm doing something.
Me too. Like if I drink like a green juice or something, I'm like, whoa, damn! I just kicked this hangover's ass.
Totally.
If we ever do have a Vanderpump Rules cast member on the podcast, we should ask them our first question: how the hell do you do things day after day like that? You know what I mean? And keep
Yeah.
your energy sustained.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there were some fun moments in like the history of the show where they just look like absolute shit the next day.
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
It's really funny.
Yeah, and they might be just like always combining, huge party centric days, and there's probably some, low energy days in between that we just don't see very often.
Right,
So maybe it
yeah.
looks like they're more energetic than
Those
they actually are.
bubbas were definitely like on the couch for a few days
yeah.
after some events.
You remember that scene where it's like a very small scene, so you might not remember, but like Schwartz is so hungover after like a night of partying, and Katie starts using the blender or whatever the next day, and he like it like annihilates him. He is so hungover. I don't feel like that. I'm like a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm just tired. I like feel like I mean, I think I'll get boosted from this conversation. I'm gonna get fired up.
Yeah, same here.
But I might take a nap when you
Okay.
leave.
Yeah, and I'm looking at our audio level lines,
Yeah.
and mine is looking a little low. I don't want to fully test it yet, but I'm just noting that I'm going to keep my audio levels high. Your voice is barely making a little
Blip.
etch on there, but I'm sure I'm sure it's very good. Do you want to explain, or should we tell everyone why we're so tired after our Sunday that we had together?
You mean, should we talk about Pride?
Yeah, would you like to?
Sure. It was a great day.
Oh, it was so good. It was, I was saying that, like, if I would have had fan fiction about what I wanted the day to be, I wouldn't have dreamed that, because I would have never thought that we could hit that many high watermarks.
Yeah. No, it was really good. We were entertained throughout. We kept having sighting after sighting. But I'm going to say up top, Lisa Vanderpump was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, we went all over searching for Lisa. We were there on Vanderpump Row for how many hours? 6 or 7 hours?
Yeah, probably like, I don't know, 1 to 6 something.
And we didn't get one glimpse of Lisa. I would
No.
like to know what was going on, because we saw every single member of her family except her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to take it, a breezy, just a quick recap for people who might not have seen, our social media?
Yeah. So we cruised over probably around like 1.
Yeah, I mean, kind of late in my opinion, but it was
yeah.
good. I mean, it ended up being a good time. Traffic was horrendous. It took a long time to get there.
Finding parking at first was annoying and took us a while. Then we ended up paying for parking at the Pacific Design Center if you want the nitty-gritty details.
Which is an amazing parking lot. If you're going to park in West Hollywood and you're having trouble, go to the Pacific Design Center, $25, but we split it 4 ways. So that's not that expensive, whatever 25 divided by 4 is.
We don't need to get back into our math capabilities. It does not go well.
But once we staggered out from Pacific Design Center into the sun, do you remember? We walked by Sir Alley, and I was stunned because it looked like they were tearing it down.
Yeah, it was blocked with a chain link fence with black fabric, so you couldn't even see through. And there was all this construction equipment in the parking lot.
Steel bars, cranes.
Yeah.
A guy, there's nobody jackhammering, but it looked like, I was like, oh no, is Sir Alley getting renovated or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the real tea in the comments?
Yeah, it was, there was a concert, right? And so they were using it as a loading zone.
Yeah.
That was not apparent to me.
No, it looked like action.
Yeah.
But then we were walking past, we took some videos and everything, and then cruising right past Sir Alley is the one and only Pandora Vanderpump.
Which her ears must have been ringing because we've been talking about Pandora nonstop on Patreon because we're in the Pandora era, season 1.
The divine addiction era.
But we saw her and I was, I got that shock of recognition. Then she sort of walked by, right? Like pretty quickly. And then we all were like, we have to get a photo with Pandora, obviously. We were right in front of Sir Alley, closed down Sir Alley. We took, I'll say it, the second best photo with a Vanderpump Rules cast member we've ever taken.
It's pretty good. I will say that our immediate impression was that she seemed sad.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's okay to say it. It's not derogatory. She was a little down in the dumps.
Yeah, she just seemed low energy. She, was nice. She was like, sure. She seemed a little confused that we would want a photo. Maybe it doesn't happen to her as much as you would think.
I go, you're fucking Pandora.
But yeah, our picture turned out great.
Real, I mean, let's just be honest. Our James one is number 1.
Yeah.
That one's number 2, right? Don't you think?
It's good. Yeah.
Or do you like the Schwartz one? Schwartz one's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I'm sorry, you guys. I loved talking to him. He's great to talk to if you ever get the chance. He's just very engaging.
Yeah.
But he looked a little sickly.
Yeah. People in in the comments were saying something looks off about Schwartz. He looks pale.
Yeah.
And what else did they say? Yeah, sickly, like you said.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
We remarked on that immediately. Like, yeah, he just looked pale and like his voice was kind of raspy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what was going on.
I mean, imagine and we'll get to it when we get to the Sir dance party because something very odd happened with Schwartz, which we'll talk about.
It's like, we need to talk about Kevin. We need to talk about Schwartz.
Yeah, we need to talk about Schwartz. But then after that really good photo with Pandora, we said goodbye. We said, we'll leave you alone. I'm so sorry you're sad. We decided to go to Tom Tom first to eat food, to power ourselves with energy.
We would say, Tom allegiances aside, Tom Tom of Lisa's restaurants does have the best food, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we've said it before. Like, if you're going to get food, you got to go to Tom Tom. It's at least what you would consider food, like a 7 out of 10 on the food scale.
Yeah,
Sir,
good veggie options, too. Like, I feel like half the menu there is vegetarian, which is good for me.
Yes. So we decided that's the order of things. Tom Tom, and then we'll go to Pump, and then we'll go to Sir, and we'll, start from the top and work our way down back to the parking or whatever. We get to Tom Tom. Oh, but first...
Oh, you almost missed the most important part.
We saw something about her, which we hadn't seen it since they started going to town in there and creating the entire... It looks like almost done. 2 or 3 weeks away from opening. But on the patio, which we were talking about how the patio, when we first went there, had sludge under it, and it was disgusting and dirty. Now it was all cleaned up, but there was just one thing that shocked Amy and I so much. In the center of the patio, there was a squirt can of all sodas, of all things. It wasn't a diet.
It wasn't diet, but I let out a blood-curdling scream. People literally ran over and were like, what?
Yes, Amy screamed so loud. My wife said I was so worried about what Amy saw. She thought it was going to be like Peter dead in the patio or something, like or actually Tom Sandoval was there underneath the bench or something. But it was just a solitary squirt.
Like Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Charlie, is that his name? At the bottom of the bed, creeping out.
Oh, I don't know.
Sandoval creeping underneath something about her bench.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I wish I knew that reference, but there
I'll
was
show you. It's scary.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, it was shocking because of all things, we'd had this squirt talk. We've been talking about squirt forever.
The squirt journey.
We've all been on a squirt journey to find a squirt there. It must have been, we think, strategically placed for shock value.
It felt like a threat.
It really did. We thought like maybe Tom Sandoval was just chucking out empty squirt cans at Pride because he wasn't allowed to come there today.
Yeah, we think maybe he did the full fat squirt to throw us off his scent, but we know it was him. Yeah. Some people in our DMs were saying it was like a serial killer's calling card.
Yeah, or like the card that the Joker would leave, like one of those, what are they called? Playing cards. That would say like, I'm going to find you.
Yeah.
Or trick or treat.
Yeah.
You know what Joker says? But that was remarkable. I mean, someone did that, I think, as a goof.
You think?
Well, unless it was Sandoval.
I mean, I know in the pumped up version of the Reunion Part 3, he's crying to Lisa and says, I'm not a serial killer, dude. And I'm like, well, don't leave a calling card then.
Then why do you do your famous squirt calling card and throw it at something about her?
Zodiac.
Yeah, for real. Man.
That took us a minute to get over. We were just literally just onlookers and passersby kept coming over to see what we were reacting to, and then they just saw like a can, like a soda can on the floor, and they were like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I don't think anyone at that point was really knowledgeable about the squirt journey that Amy and I had been on.
Yeah.
What'd you think about the decor when we peeked inside? And you can be fully honest. I think that Katie and Ariana will appreciate our feedback.
I mean, I'm impressed that they're so far along. They got that done. It's a little more cottage than I was expecting. I know that their inspiration is Nancy Meyers, of which I am a connoisseur. Mm-hmm. And if I saw that place, my first thought wouldn't be Nancy Meyers. Nancy, I would say, is known for mostly white interiors, a little more simplistic, maybe like Restoration Hardware vibes or something like that. This was giving more almost shabby chic energy, very like teapot vibes. So it was a little different than I thought. So I don't know if they pivoted or if that's just their interpretation. It did look a little crowded in there. I don't know. I feel like once there's bodies in there, it's going to be a little smushed.
Yeah, because the space isn't very big.
No.
And so, it looked like they maximized every opportunity to have people like tucked in there. I mean,
because when I imagined it before they furnished it, I thought it was going to be like a counter, like, and then maybe like the outdoor seating, maybe like a couple of little tables, but it's like filled with tables and chairs.
Sort of pictured it, to be like a grab and go environment almost. Like maybe there'd be like 5 round tables in there or something, but more like, I got to get a sandwich and then I'm going to run out of here.
Right. But it just looks like if you look at the chairs, if you were sitting next to strangers at the table next to you, like your elbows will be touching.
That's what I was just going to say. If you like to eat a sandwich and you have your arm sort of to bring it up to your mouth, you're going to be touching elbows with your neighbor.
Well, maybe, it's a friend that you'll make along the way.
Yeah, that'd be so sweet. We're going to go, right, to get a sandwich?
Oh, for sure. I told you I want that Green Goddess vegan sandwich.
Okay, well, so regardless, I'm proud of them. I mean, I don't know the Nancy Meyers aesthetic except from the one beautiful movie I've seen. It's Complicated. That's the only interior I know, so you know it so much better than me.
She literally has a, like, cafe in that movie, and it's more of like a French, like, brasserie vibe. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And theirs is more...
Well, actually, what does brasserie mean?
That's a good question. But I feel like that's what like Cafe Figaro down here is, like kind of just like a, I don't know, like a, I don't know how to describe it. Just that I feel like the look in Nancy Meyer's is a little cleaner.
Okay. And they're adding a little shabby element, which is not the Nancy
like
Meyer's.
Theirs felt a little more maximalist.
Yes.
And I feel like Nancy Meyer's is minimalist.
That's a great way to put it.
Right?
Yep. That term works for me. Maximalist versus minimalist. I like that.
But yeah, my sister is in Paris right now, and she went to the restaurant that Diane Keaton goes to at the end of Something's Gotta Give, which I've also been to, called Le Grand Colbert. And so if you're talking Nancy Meyer's, that's one of the places.
Okay. And with that, is the aesthetic in there something that you might want to recreate if you were going for a Nancy Meyer's aesthetic?
It's it's like a full-on like classic French restaurant, so that's like a full-blown restaurant, whereas like the Nancy Meyer's kitchens are like so specific. But like, look at like Cameron Diaz. You haven't seen The Holiday?
Yeah, I have, but
Okay.
I don't. But I'm a one and done on those, except for It's Complicated. I've seen that 5 times.
Okay. Cameron Diaz's home in The Holiday is like extremely simplistic.
Okay.
But then Kate Winslet's house in it is a cottage, so maybe they went that direction.
Yeah. Do you think? I forget if I've asked this. Do you think Ariana and Katie are going to be like wearing chef's hats and aprons and serving the sandwiches, or are they going to be the figureheads and they're not going to be there? They're going to be sort of like poking their heads in. Yeah,
that is like a little harder in a place like that. Whereas like at Shorts and Sandy's or like Tom Tom or Pump and Sir, like they can kind of mill around and just, but like at a sandwich shop, like, or are they just going to stand there and watch us eat our sandwiches?
Yeah, see the look on our faces when we eat it. I was just thinking about how you told me how Sir was originally just a sandwich shop, right?
Cafe,
a cafe with just
wine and beer
and
like
pastries and sandwiches.
Yeah.
It's kind of Lisa going back to her roots there.
That's true. I wonder if they like talk to her about that.
Probably.
I'll also say one more thing about the aesthetic that I've never felt made much sense. Again, I say this with love. I want them to make millions. I just feel like that aesthetic doesn't match their actual taste, like what they like. And then last night, after the reunion part 3, they released merch. What does it say? Do you remember?
It says, "Fuck me in this t-shirt," right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has this like kind of like haunting illustration of Ariana with like her hands up. Like it's a very like almost like ghoulish
it's awesome.
Halloween shirt.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but it's for sale on somethingabouhther.com, and I can't think of a further away aesthetic. Like it was more like Hot Topic energy, and I am not saying that disparagingly. I just mean it was a rocker, emo, kind of goth energy,
right?
Which I think makes more sense for them. Like I think that's what they like. Emo night.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
Like I think they have like a rocker's edge. Yeah. That's what they like.
Well, maybe their taste combined is that. Like maybe Ariana has a different aesthetic. Maybe Katie has a slightly different aesthetic. I mean, we do know they love emo night. They love that kind of stuff. But maybe this is just where their Venn diagram overlaps a little bit. But that shirt
I was just like, if I'm talking the merch I'm going to sell on my English cottage place, that like Halloween shirt doesn't go.
I think that's a one-time.
A one and done.
That's a one and done. It's just to capitalize on that very iconic, capitalizing on a moment that, was so horrible. Tom Sandoval said. But
we will get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm just saying. I feel like they're already having inclinations of straying from the aesthetic. So I'm wondering, was that the most comfortable aesthetic for them to have to stick to forever now?
Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you.
We'll see. And I want to taste the sandwiches. That's for sure. I do love sandwiches. So I bet it will open in the next month. Do you think?
Yeah, it seemed very close to opening.
Unless they can't find a chef like Shorts and Sandy's.
They're going to get someone in 2 seconds. Then after we took that little peek at Something About Her, we walked all the way to Tom Tom.
Yep.
We got an amazing table, wouldn't you say?
We ran into Logan
Oh,
while we
yes.
were waiting in line, who was wearing a Team Ariana t-shirt that was like one of those sort of like bootleg like concert shirts,
Yes.
like Aaliyah style, but Ariana.
Yes. And he was so nice to us. We got a table immediately, and then we just started chugging buckets of Coors Lights
Yep.
and Sol.
Yeah. I don't know why. I kind of like had like a brain malfunction when we were trying to
Me
figure out
too.
what beer. And then you were like Coors Lights. And then I was like, I kind of want like a cerveza. Like I wanted like a Corona or
Right.
something.
But Sol is a cerveza, right?
Right. But like, and it was fine. But like, have you ever ordered a Sol in your life?
Never in my
Like,
goddamn...
what a weird choice for them to have that, right?
Well, their beer selections, we've talked about it. I think they are to motivate
Deter.
people to not chug a bunch of beers there. If they had good beers, Mama's Yellow Pills or some fun craft beers, people would be chugging beers.
Yeah.
And Lisa doesn't want people chugging beers.
Right.
Because we got away with murder at Tom Tom. $9 for Coors Lights. People think that's egregious, but that's the cheapest you can get.
To talk about our math skills yet again, we were talking last night about how the buckets of beer are $45 for 5 beers, and we were like, that's a great deal. And we kept ordering them.
We were stunned. We were like 45.
We were like, that's amazing. But then on the receipt, the beers were just listed individually at $9 each, and we were like, they ripped us off. $9. They were supposed to be a good deal. And then we were like, 9 times 5 is 45.
Yeah, we got out a huge calculator and we spent a couple minutes punching it in, and it turns out that 9 times 5 is 45, wouldn't you say?
Did you know?
No, I was stunned. We were like, we got ripped off. We thought we were getting the $45 price. But so while this is happening, while we're chugging beers, we're kind of just easing into our day. We're getting fueled up, right? I was
Yeah.
kind of fueling
Yeah.
up.
No, we were stoked. The DJ, I wish we knew his name because I would
Oh.
shout him out. He was a sleigh.
Oh, every song back to back was better than before. It just
Yeah.
kept escalating. No stinkers.
No, it was great.
Just ripping through the best dance hits you've ever heard. Everyone was bopping their asses off because
Yeah.
you couldn't
It
deny.
was so loud.
It was so loud. It was so good. And then while we're just getting into it, dancing, having fun, bopping our heads, chugging Coors, Ken Todd is just taking a goddamn tour through Tom Tom, making the rounds.
Doing laps, yeah.
Making the rounds. What's it called? Pumping flesh? Is that what it's
Yeah.
called?
He was like borderline like massaging people's shoulders.
Yeah, I'll say borderline.
Like kind of just like putting his hands on people's shoulders,
Holding
shaking their
court.
hands.
Holding
Yeah,
court
totally.
over us.
which is that's unusual for him, actually. He's usually kind of trying to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, I've told people that the last time I asked to take a photo with him, he said, I never will take a photo with another human again. Please get away from me. And this was the opposite.
Yeah.
He totally revoked his no photo rule.
Totally. And it made me worried because, again, we never saw Lisa.
Yeah.
So it felt like he was there in replacement. Like he knew that he had to hold up their end of the bargain.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly. It felt like he was subbing in.
Yeah.
It was like, I'll take the brunt of these crazed fans that
Yeah.
came into Tom Tom.
He wasn't wearing any rainbow gear this year.
No, he was kind of just dressed nice.
Yeah, he was
Blue
wearing
shirt.
his like Panama hat or whatever.
Yeah, and he was greeting us. At one point, I looked away and I was like looking, we're doing something or whatever. And then I looked back and you were just having a full blown moment with Ken. I like looked away and then, right?
Yeah.
You were just talking to him, having fun.
Well, at first he made the rounds and he didn't come over to us, and we were like, what the fuck did I do? Like, I want him to rub my shoulder. Like,
Yeah.
come
Yep.
on.
Yep.
And then so when he did come by, I made a meal of it. I was like, Ken, you're a legend. And he was like, oh, what? And I was like,
Oh, what?
I was like, a legend. And he was like, a legend. And I was like, yes.
Do
I
you
was
think
like,
you're the first person that's ever called him that?
maybe.
Wow.
I said, how are the pets? He said, great. I said, how are the ponies? And he said, everybody's great.
He's like, don't ask me about the pets. They're all alive, and we're taking care of them very well.
And then, he just, gave him a handshake, and then he was off like the wind.
Yeah, I looked back after you finished talking to him, and it was like he just disappeared into dust.
Yeah, he like flew away as a bird.
It was
out the
so
window.
so already I was on cloud 9 because we had already seen a rare Pandora, even though she was sad.
Yeah.
We had seen a squirt can and something about her, a shocking juxtaposition.
That was the stand-in for Sandoval this year.
Then Ken is making the goddamn rounds.
Wait, what if Sandoval had his spirit in the squirt can and he was like bopping as the can to try and get into something about her, and then we walked up and he had to play dead like Toy Story style and lay down, and then you killed him because you crushed the can.
Yeah, I totally thought the same thing. I said, was he trying to animate this can with his spirit to crash into something about her out of pure, what's that called? Like hatred for something about her? But yeah, I think I might have, unfortunately, crushed his spirit and he can't get out of that can anymore. That was bad, because at the end of the day, I'll just spoil it, but I went into the patio because I wanted to destroy that squirt bad energy, and I crushed the can, kind of as a silly.
Should have taken it with us.
I know, what the hell, I just left it.
Actually, I don't want it.
Actually, I did pick it up and I threw it in the garbage can. But okay, so then when we were high on our horses, wouldn't you say we had hubris?
Yeah, we're like, couldn't get any better than this.
This day will not get better. Absolutely. ... This can't happen any better than it is. And then all of a sudden, some might, you're gonna start to get mad at us. You're gonna be like, how the hell could you be talking so positively about this man? But we saw Schwartz looking like he just stumbled in. You said a little sickly and pale.
Yeah.
And I said, Schwartz, will you come over and take a photo with us? And he goes, sure, my man. And then he was nice to us.
Yeah, he was thrilled about the Coors Lights.
He
was
loved,
like, oh, you guys are drinking Coors Lights?
He loved saying or seeing how many abandoned drunken Coors Lights we had on our table.
That was our first win to lure him in.
Yes, we got him. So we took a great photo, and then our friend Natalie, I can just say it, right?
Yeah.
She held court with Schwartz for maybe 15 full minutes. He was loving life over there on Natalie's side of the table.
Yeah, he went around to her side and was bent down on kind of one knee, just chatting with us. It seemed kind of like he was hiding.
Yeah,
so that like he wouldn't get mobbed.
Yeah, he wasn't ready to start his official rounds in pumping the flesh and doing all that stuff. So he was taking a knee. I was almost like, do you want to pull up a chair?
Yeah.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
And it was just a fun conversation. I don't remember one word of it, but he was.
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay, you want to say some of it? Any exclusives?
I'm trying to think. So he first came over to us. He was just being nice, and then we were talking about. I told him that me and Natalie live in Los Feliz, and I was like, so Schwartz and Sandy's is easy for us, like easier than the other Vanderpump restaurants to get to. And he was like, oh, I love Los Feliz. And then he was saying that he wants Schwartz and Sandy's to be divier.
Oh, right.
And we agreed. And he kind of listed off some of his ideas. He said he does want to have music.
Yes.
He said he wants to get a DJ in there. Megan said DJ James Kennedy. And he said he's not the vibe.
For real. He said he's a great DJ, but probably just not.
He didn't say anything disparaging, but it does make sense. Like, he isn't the vibe for what this vision was.
What else? He was saying like he wanted to create more space in there, right? Wasn't he saying like he wanted to dismantle some of that stuff?
Yeah, and he also wants to put in like a lover's booth.
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah, he wants to add these really fun porno games where it's like you find the naked body in like a picture, and he wants them on every table. So then we were like, the vibe you're talking about is Ye Rustic, right? I mean, he was basically talking like Ye Rustic didn't exist. So we brought up Ye Rustic. He was like, I've never been there before. Which
is absolutely insane. Like, I know that a lot of you guys don't live in LA, and maybe if you don't live in a certain neighborhood, you don't know about Ye Rustic. But for having watched Vanderpump Rules for 10 years, I would have literally bet my soul that he's been to Ye Rustic 100 times, and I cannot believe it's a place called Ye Rustic Inn on Hillhurst Avenue.
It's beautiful.
And it's like the perfect dive bar.
Yeah, the best encapsulation of a dive bar. Also, they are famous for the best chicken wings in Los Angeles, and I think that is a true fact. I've had chicken wings from every place in LA. Ye Rustic, by far,
like everyone says that,
are the best.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a secret thing, but that everybody talks about all the time.
And Schwartz was excited. You said their wings are amazing, and he goes, "Their wings?"
Yeah, that was a good moment.
He was like stoked.
Yeah, that was a good moment.
So maybe
with him.
he'll go there. But I'm like, how the hell did you open what you wanted to be a dive bar like a mile away from like a great dive bar, and you've never been there? Also, the drawing room, which is across the street from Ye Rustic, it's even seedier, even divier.
Oh yeah.
So I would love to take him on a tour of our local dive bars.
Once he's, I was thinking we rehabilitate his image with a tour around Los Feliz dive bars.
Yeah.
And just sort of, I think that would be his bridge back to being widely accepted by everyone. Don't you think?
I mean, I think we could help him make his restaurant better and get people back in the doors talking to him, and then he can charm his way back in. Yeah.
Yeah. His interview with Jackson Brittany, I don't know if you listened to it, but he sort of really said, I'm taking a huge break from Sandoval. He really took advantage of me. He made me like a part of this thing, and I'm not talking to Sandoval anymore for the time being. So it sounds like he's finally come to grips with how awful Sandoval was and how he sort of used him.
Yeah.
In this whole narrative. So
I know. I don't know. I feel like he came off okay in the reunion. We can get into that. Like, I didn't leave the reunion hating him more than before.
No, and
he didn't really say that much.
Yeah, he was so bummed out that entire reunion. Like at the end, he's just like staring at the floor. Yeah. Like just stunned by how awful everything is.
Right. And so I don't know. I know that Ariana has said multiple times that she's not going to be sharing any friends with Sandoval. So I'm curious if she'll talk to him anymore, even if he is on a break, or if she just thinks it's a bridge too far. But
I think if I know those two people that I don't know at all, I think Ariana will find it in her heart to forgive Schwartz eventually. It'll just take time.
For sure. I know that's the thing that we've said this on every episode about the reunions, but the reunions were shot in such fiery rage timing. Like literally like 3 weeks after they all found out. So it's like, I actually would love to revisit and be like, where do you stand now? Like, are you still that pissed off?
Right.
Or have you thought about it a little more? Like, have your feelings evolved? Or have your feelings gotten worse because you now know even worse things than you did before?
Well, yeah, don't do the reunion now, now, because what we just learned was so shocking. But I agree. The mind state that they captured is not representative of how they're going to be the entire, this entire off season. It was just like a weird time to do the reunion.
Yeah. It was like so hot off the press, but so I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else.
Let's get out of Tom Tom. We're going to speed this up because we got a lot to talk about. So we raced out of Tom Tom. Schwartz talked to us for a minute. He goes, if I don't remember this, I want to buy you guys shots. But if you don't hear from me again, just I'll make you shots later or something like that. Then he was just taken by a crowd of zombies. And he was just taking photos the rest of the time. So before we left Tom Tom, I went up to the bartender and I said, Schwartz said that we could have shots. And she goes, huh? And I go, he said we could have 7 shots of tequila for free. And she goes, okay, whatever. So she poured us 7 shots. We got it, which I thought was a win. I mean, those shots would have been expensive as hell.
They were nasty, whatever the tequila was. I'm sure it was just the bottom shelf.
I asked for bottom of the barrel.
Okay. They hurt going down.
Oh yeah, and only half of us did half of them. It was like we just like poured them in the thing, but whatever. It sent us on our way in beautiful spirits. We went by Pump, but Pump wasn't the vibe. There was a big lock on the door, and maybe Lisa was in there up in the olive trees.
Yeah, the preemptive treehouse restaurant that's not there yet.
Yes.
So maybe she was in there, although I don't think she posted anything. So I feel like she would have maybe posted if she was there.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but we were just like, okay, we're not going to Pump. I don't know. We just made that decision, right?
Yeah, we just kind of were like, never mind. And then went straight on down to Sir.
Oh.
And it was popping off.
Sir, it was, well, okay, so I'll give credit. There is a person named Israel, is his name, who works at Shorts and Sandy's, and he was doing a DJ set at Sir, and it was, or hosting a DJ event with a DJ, and it was amazing, beautiful, so fun.
It was lit. It was totally packed. Everyone was like jumping up and down. It felt like old times.
Yes, yeah, just a great dance party. People were like pouring out, liquor for people. We were chugging Miller Lights.
Yeah. Schwartz was there.
Yeah, so Schwartz had just done the exact same route as us. He had left Tom Tom and then got to Sir, like from the back alley or something, because then he was just like there at the exact same time as us. He even greeted us like we were old friends, even though we'd only met him 20 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago at Tom Tom. Should we talk about the odd part of it?
Sure. I think this was right before the weird stuff happened. Peter did appear.
Yeah, so Peter was so nice. He's in his element. He was being so sweet to everyone.
He seemed like he wasn't working, or
I don't think
he wasn't like hard at work. It seemed like he was like dropping in.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't at work. He was just hanging out. And then Peter and Schwartz had a moment where they saw each other in the crowd, and they like did
the
this.
The crowd parted.
This slow walk as they looked at each other, and they finally greeted each other. It was like, I guess they hadn't seen each other in a really long time, and they had this embrace, this beautiful moment of like reconciliation.
Yeah, they were talking like right into each other's ears because it was really loud in there, but it looked very sweet and like a happy reunion.
Yes.
I was happy to see that. And then when Peter passed by me, I said, I didn't ask him for a photo, but I said, Peter, thank you for all of your hard work over the years. Like, it really,
that was sweet.
I honor your everything you've done. And he said, thank you for saying that.
Oh, that is so sweet. Peter is really, really sweet. I mean, he's so nice. That was nice of you to say that to him.
I meant it. He's like keeping the entire franchise alive, like underneath.
Yeah. Lisa said, I want everybody to get successful and move on except for Peter.
Yeah. We're, as some of you may know, we just finished watching season 1 for our Patreon. And it's from the very first reunion. They have Peter serving shots at the end. Lisa relegated him to the background from the very jump.
Yeah, I mean, he has just as many scenes as Sandoval in the first season. He's just as much a part of the cast. And then for some reason, they decided after the season ended and before the reunion that Peter is just a friend of or not a part of that cast.
It has to be Lisa's doing. She just could not lose her manager. She was like, you're not getting sucked up into this funny business.
Yeah, Peter's too busy for this.
You.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, so then there's a gaggle of girls hanging out in the corner, a bunch of hotties.
Oh, total.
Thotties.
Total hotties. I won't call them thotties. Total hotties. And Schwartz is like enveloped by them, like, completely taken over by them. And at one point, we're partying, so it was hard to like see everything that happened, but we have a live stream of it, so like people were able to watch it. But someone yells, one of the women yells, "Let's go!"
Yeah.
To Schwartz, and we had no clue what was going on or whatever. And then he doesn't move because he's still, greeting people, having fun, taking photos or whatever. And then someone comes from like the back area of Sir, and runs up to Schwartz and pulls him by his sweater like a doll, pulling on his sweater to get him to follow her to get out of there. Like he was like,
she like drags him out.
Dragged him by his shirt. Like it was aggressive.
Yeah.
And it was.
If the roles were reversed, if it was a girl, if a guy grabbed a girl like that, you would like scream and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, it made me uncomfortable. It made me really embarrassed. It was weird.
But he wasn't particularly
worried
about it.
I don't know if he's used to that people come up to him and just like pull him away physically from what he's doing. But it was weird. And then he like got pulled out of the room and was just gone after that with whoever
we never
that.
Saw him again.
And so people were speculating, it's like, was it Joe? And Joe, his roommate was there, and she was like, we gotta leave. And then he didn't listen, or he was like taking up too much attention with other people. So her friend came in and like pulled him out, but that's just pure speculation. We have no clue.
So it sounds like Joe was definitely there. I guess I don't quite know what she looks
I
like.
have no clue what Joe looks like. Somebody watch our live stream. If you know who Joe is, let us know if that's officially Joe in the live stream from that day.
Yeah.
But I just what else makes sense? Why else would someone pull
Well,
him away?
Some people were speculating that shortly after he left, almost immediately after, Sheena arrived.
Yes.
So
Sheena.
some people were speculating that it was a transfer of power. That
Yes. Yeah,
he
but
needed to leave before Sheena could come. But don't you think that she would maybe be okay with Schwartz being there?
yes, but it was like maybe there was some friend in there that hated Sheena or something and wanted him out of there. But that presumes that whoever was there is like his inner circle and was like getting him out of there instead of just a random group of people.
It was weird. But yeah, that video is available on our Patreon feed if you're curious and you want to do detective work yourself.
We told this whole story just so you would go to Patreon and pay us to watch it.
Trying to milk that cash cow.
Yeah. Then we went to the back room because Sheena had just arrived. She was wearing a very awesome pink bucket hat.
Yeah.
She was vlogging back there. We go, Sheena! And we just like, we were the first people to go up to her because I don't think people, one of our friend group, I don't know if it was you, someone identified
saw
her.
her, yeah.
Maybe Natalie.
Yeah.
Identified Sheena. She's like, that's Sheena in the back room. So we just very gracefully, but filled with party energy, ran up to Sheena.
She was fresh off the train from, well, she probably drove, but she had just thrown the first pitch at the Padres game with Ariana, which my boyfriend Jimmy was upset about because they are Dodger rivals. Dodgers should have made them that offer first, but Sheena has that baseball background. She always talks about her grandma, I think, was one of the Rockland Peaches, as inspired the film League of Their Own.
I had no idea of that. When does she talk about that?
She said it on the show, and then she's mentioned it a couple of times, and then in her caption at the baseball stadium, she said it again.
You said
And
the
she played
Rockford
softball in high school.
Okay, I didn't know this baseball history. That's pretty awesome.
Which
for her then.
is fun for her. I like that.
So then after that, my drunk level was 9 out of 10, and we decided that we could have had so much more of this if we would have stayed.
Yeah, we could have stayed all night, but we decided it was for the best for us to extricate ourselves from the Vanderpump universe and go eat pancakes.
Yes. Yeah, it's like, how greedy can we be? We already had the best day. Like, if we continue to stay, things might only get worse. So we left. Our friend Natalie drove us to the beautiful, what was that diner called?
Clark Street Diner.
Ooh, Clark's.
Formerly Cafe 101.
Yeah, and it was so good. We just reminisced. We ate pancakes. We had the best little diner experience. And then that was our pride.
Yeah, it was great. Collected some new Pokemon, as I call them, our Vanderpump Rules photo opportunities. Pandora's kind of like a rare one, I feel.
I know. That was a good one. That's rare. When we're selling memorabilia and we do that signed photo, that is going to be a big one.
For sure.
Yeah, that was it, right?
Yeah. Highly recommend. Pride is always a perfect opportunity to go collect Pokemon, see what the vibe is. Like, you're always going to have a great time because that's when everyone is there.
And
usually.
go Sunday. Sunday is the powerful day of Pride.
Yeah.
That's when everyone comes out and starts partying. So, it was great.
And then we'll be going back on Tuesday. My body just did like a full shiver thinking about drinking at Sur again, but
I'll be recovered by then because today is Thursday. That gives us 4 days. 4 full days to recover after this.
But Jax will be there, so it'll be interesting.
I am so ready to party with Jax again. Okay, cool. Well, do you want to, should we take a break and then talk about New Jersey?
Sure, yeah, we can do a New Jersey / Summer House minute, but we should keep it to a minute so that we can get into this freaking reunion.
Yeah, I think it should just be very general, high-level thoughts about both of those because we can't talk about all this shit for this long.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We love you so much, and we will be right back.
Bye.
And we are back.
Hello.
How's your mic over there?
It's good. For people on YouTube, we did order pieces to add to the mic stands that work for our like handheld mics, but they are out for delivery right now. So we zip tied our mics to the stand. So it's a little bit of a makeshift operation right now.
Yeah, a little like DIY sort of punk vibe, wouldn't you say?
It's really cool.
We're kind of punk rock?
Yeah, we're like a pirate radio.
We're like pirate radio. Like this is our what is pirate radio? That's like when you have your own pirate station. You play like punk rock, right? And people pick it over the airwaves.
Something like that. I was hoping you wouldn't ask any further questions.
Like when I asked what a brasserie was.
Yeah, you called me out.
I'm so sorry. Anytime I say, I'm sure that'll happen where I'm going to say something, you'll be like, what the hell is that? And I go, I do not know what that was. So Amy and I want to talk about New Jersey for just actually 1 minute because I just think that Jersey got so dismissed in this whole thing. Summer House got dismissed by VPR. VPR was this gigantic planet that blocked out the sun, and nothing could outshine that, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, I feel like no one was really talking about it. I wonder ratings-wise if it did well, but...
So Jersey Reunion Part 1 actually got the highest rating since 2019 for Jersey.
Wow.
So people are fired up to watch the reunion.
Right.
Because the reunion, I think, is actually really good.
Yeah.
It's so much better than the season. We've already said this.
Yeah.
Part 2 just kept it going.
Mm-hmm.
They're so pissed at each other. This Margaret, Melissa, Teresa divide is like wild. I mean, they are so furious with each other.
Yeah. I feel like it's rare that I'm stoked for 3 entire parts. Like I'm usually like, all right. But I'm like actually like actively excited for part 3 because the husbands are coming in.
Yes.
And basically the entire plot of the reunion conversation is based around Louis.
Yes.
So I'm like, let's get him out here.
Oh yeah.
Like, what's he gonna say?
And they tease the husbands like they're Raquel. Like it's we're all waiting with bated breath for those husbands.
And all the
come out.
husbands are against Louis already. Behind the scenes.
Now, who were Louis' allies? Because the men were divided. Was
I guess Bill is pro.
Yeah, because Bill was his best man.
Right.
Or not best man, but a groomsman.
Yeah.
Oh, so Bill's on his side, which that's rare for Bill to be on the wrong side of history. I love Bill. And then was that new guy Nate Cabral, Danielle's husband, was on his side.
Yeah.
Oof.
I feel like he didn't say much, or at least I don't remember.
If the husbands are divided, that's not the divide you want to be on. You want Frank Catania.
Andy in the preview is like, goes up to Louis and he's like, please, I just don't want it to get violent because I'm screwed. Like, there's nothing I can do. Imagine Frank Catania going after someone. I know. Andy would be like, he just shouldn't step in if that happens.
Let Frank Catania do whatever he wants to do to Louis. It's not on you, Andy, at all. He goes, I'm the first line of defense out there, so please don't get too agitated.
I mean, he got pushed down by Teresa, so imagine.
I know, but he said Teresa had superhuman strength.
You can see it.
Oh.
It's like Hulk strength.
Oh, she pushed him down so hard.
She could have picked up a car.
Andy, okay, so now that we're in it and I'm remembering all my favorite moments because I can barely remember anything anymore, Andy was so pissed at Teresa mostly, and Melissa, the fighting between them. He was just so fed up.
Yeah.
He was telling them, he was having to scream over them to get them to...
He was like, you guys don't evolve.
Yes.
Like, he was like, you don't grow.
Yes.
Like, you need, like, this is ridiculous. And we were talking about this because we'll get into Summer House, but he very actively explained Danielle's case on the Summer House reunion to Lindsay, which he never usually does.
Yes.
And then on New Jersey, he was getting pissed off that they weren't understanding each other. He squashed the beef between the new cast members.
He just, squashed it by saying, this is the dumbest fight in Housewives history. I can't believe this is actually happening. That made Danielle shut up instantly.
Yeah.
And he just called your dumb feud with Rachel the worst fight he's ever seen.
Yeah. So I feel like across the board, his patience for this bullshit is waning.
Yeah. When I
which
say
is
worst,
interesting.
I mean yes.
Because it's almost like he feels like he can't do this anymore? ?
I think his... That's
But I
one
love
way.
it. I love watching it because I'm like, that's how we all feel. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, his passive bystander, I'm just asking questions, is starting to, what's the opposite of that? He's starting to turn up his more opinionated self and trying to squash beef, saying his side of things. He'll say his opinions now, which I didn't notice, and it really comes out in the Jersey and Summer House reunions.
Totally. Like he's getting more of a like, can't we all just get along vibe?
Yeah,
kind of, you know?
for sure. Yeah,
I don't know if that's like the fatherhood in him because he probably has to mediate between his kids all the time, maybe, and he's like, I can't do this 24/7.
It's possible. Yeah.
But yeah, he was getting so infuriated. I mean, that's happened over the years when he's just like, can you shut up? And it like freaks everyone out when he gets so mad.
I feel like mostly with Teresa.
Yeah.
I feel like he gets the maddest at Teresa because Teresa doesn't listen.
Yeah.
And she can't be dissuaded.
Dissuaded.
Oh, right. Thank you so much. Oh, God. Could you imagine if I just left that? Dissuaded by anything that anyone says. She has a worldview and a reality and nothing.
She's like a dog with a bone.
Yeah.
And like this week she brought up that she thinks that Joe and Melissa are partly responsible for sending her to prison.
Yeah.
Which she said, I publicly apologized to Caroline because actually I think it was you. And everyone's like, even Andy was like, are you serious?
And also it's like, okay, so apologize then to Caroline because you've been saying that for 10 years. And now you're like, oh, no, actually, it's you. It's even worse.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, right. And also Andy's just like, you committed the crime.
Right.
You know, this was your husband who did this to you. And she's like, yeah, but Joe was talking to an ex-partner's friend or something. It's like her, the way of her rationalizing her hatred to Melissa and Joe is like, what's that called? Just, she cannot think of enough ammunition to get against them. It's like,
and it doesn't add up. It's just like so annoying to watch.
I know. It's frustrating. I have been the biggest Teresa defender, even though she's the most hypocritical cast member I've ever seen in my life. I'm just like, you need Teresa. Like she is the show, but now it's just hard because I don't believe anything she says anymore.
Right.
Nothing she says.
Yeah, she kind of just like throws stuff at the wall and see if it sticks.
Oh yeah, and if you're not a Melissa fan or you think Melissa's boring, I think this reunion is worth watching because Melissa is bringing it to Teresa. Everything Teresa says, Melissa has a good counterpoint, and she's fired up back at her. It's like she doesn't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
Finally, she has let this bridge
right.
burn.
Yeah, for so many years, they've been trying to like, she's been trying to not go too far because they're hoping that they can repair at the end, but this time it's just over.
Oh, game over. I think Joe has, Gorga has officially just declared, we're done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We can't be a part of the narrative anymore.
She read that Jacqueline text that was like awful.
And that was about Teresa.
Yeah.
And when Jacqueline's name is mentioned, Andy just like can't help but laugh that Teresa's using like Jacqueline as evidence for her claims.
Yeah.
So it's just so great. Even if you didn't watch the season, this reunion is almost just encapsulated on its own. Like there is nothing you need to know from the season really.
Right.
Melissa and Teresa are still fighting.
Yeah.
Margaret and Teresa hate each other. The New Girls have the worst feud in history, and that gets resolved in 2 seconds. So it's really just great on its own.
I was telling someone last night that they don't need to watch the season. They can just watch the reunion.
No.
And then, I think next week is going to be very exciting with the husbands. The private investigator shit. I think the last thing I'll mention is just that Margaret accused Louis of calling her kids at work, or the private investigator calling her kids at work. Mm-hmm. And then Teresa brought into play the the housewife phone scam that Andy talks about throughout his book, where he all year and for many years will get calls from housewives, like their name will come up and then there'll be no one on the line. And so he's always going back and forth and getting like a text from Bethany, like, did you just call me or was it the scam? Or like, it would be like, it happened to like Joy Behar called him. And then like everyone is just getting spoof calls between the housewives amongst each other.
Can we admit now that it's, I just want to say, I'm going to come clean. It's you and I doing it.
We are the spoof callers.
Andy, I am so sorry, but it is just too much fun to have you think that Joy Behar is calling you and for you to call her back, but we're not going to do it anymore. So right? I'm not going to hack into
Where
their phones anymore.
The phone calls will cease.
As of
tonight.
now, you guys do not have to worry about that. It is over. The Louis thing was the last straw.
Yeah. And then when they were talking about, so Teresa was like, it's the spoof, it's not Louis. While Teresa is on the couch, right when she says that, her phone rings on the reunion couch and it says it's Margaret. And she's like, see?
No way.
It happens all the time. And they're like, that's interesting because he's watching backstage. That would be interesting if he were to do that so in such a relevant moment.
Wait.
And she was like, that's ridiculous.
Wait, I missed that moment. I don't know what the hell I was
She
doing.
showed her phone to the group.
That
She was
Margaret
like,
was
Margaret's
calling- and Margaret was
me.
there?
Yeah.
And Margaret didn't have a phone and she was dialing it with her ass or something.
Yeah. Her ass cheeks. She's like, boop, beep, boop,
Calling
beep,
Teresa.
boop, beep.
So
that was insane.
yeah. So good. So yeah. I mean,
But I loved having the tea on that because I read his book already. He talked about it at the Bitch Sesh
yes.
event. And so when it came up, I was like, oh, I know all about this phone scam he's talking about.
Do you think Louis doing it?
Yes. He's like a creep, dude. I've turned on him completely.
Me too.
Yeah.
Once I saw how he just turned on Joe and Melissa for almost no reason. I said this last week. He was full Zen mode. I love them. You be patient with your brother. Thou shalt not forsake your brother. I love it. Turn the other cheek. And then Joe and Melissa had like one argument with him.
Yeah.
And he threw them to the dirt.
Yeah.
He was like, you will never speak their names ever out loud again in front of me. They're uninvited. It's like, where the hell? He was waiting for the moment when he was going to isolate Teresa away from
Right.
her brother and
Yeah,
sister-in-law.
he played the long game.
He is a nightmare, and I can't believe
I can't believe.
that Teresa didn't sign
Oh
a
my
prenup
God.
with Louis.
Andy tried so hard.
This guy, he's going to get half of her empire.
It's so fucked.
Oh, man. And this is...
Imagine going to jail, literal jail,
Yeah.
because your husband committed like mortgage fraud or whatever it
I know.
was, because you weren't protected, because you were
Yes.
married, and you still don't get, you literally went to prison
I know.
for what, a year?
I know.
Left your kids, and you don't get a prenup.
Teresa's relationship with money is the most... I don't know what the word is. It seems like it comes and goes faster than any other housewife. Like, she spends so much money, and she was already bankrupt around the time when
Right.
she was going through that crime. Now she's accumulated all this wealth, and then who
She
knows?
spent $500,000 on the wedding.
Yeah, I know.
I got a TikTok. It was a pretty long clip of the first episode ever, and it has that iconic scene where she goes furniture shopping,
Yeah, I was
and
just
it's
gonna say that.
$100,000,
Yeah.
and she pays in cash.
Yeah, she's spending so much money. That was her arc for the first season, was just
Yeah.
how much money Teresa spends. And
It's
she's
pretty
still-
iconic.
Yeah,
Remember when she used to be likable?
I know. It was. Yeah.
She was like so much more lighthearted.
Oh well, I mean, this like the sweetest, saddest scene is like when she's going away to jail, and then when she comes back from jail, and she's like changed.
Yeah.
She's like zenned out. She's almost ready for a purge again because that era has ended, and now she's
Yeah.
fully back to pure hatred.
Yeah.
And it's like she forgot the namaste self completely. Like, she's not
Yeah.
namaste anymore.
Yeah. Remember in the reunion, Melissa says something about namaste, and she's like she says like, I don't know, stick namaste up your ass or something like that. And Teresa's like, don't steal my line, namaste.
She did.
She's like, namaste is my thing.
Yeah. Oh, there was another. I just remember this other moment where Teresa used. Melissa was on the bus in Ireland, and she's like, "I'm so drunk, I might call my ex." And
Right.
Teresa's face is like she can't believe at all that Melissa would stoop so low as to say something like that, because in her mind, Melissa's the biggest cheater.
It's ridiculous.
That she's been cheating on Joe this whole time. She uses this just lighthearted joke when Melissa's being
Yeah.
fun against her.
Andy's like, did you think she was serious? And she was like, I don't know, I just would never say something like that.
Well-
and then later she says that she loves how does she
Channing
say Channing
Totters.
Channer
Ta-
Tatum.
Channing Tatum.
She cannot say his name. And
Yeah.
then they're like, Melissa's like, how could you say something like that?
Perfect.
And she's like, yeah, Louis loves that I love Magic Mike. Like, he loves that. And it's like, okay, great. Like,
Okay.
you make no sense. But anyways.
Right, and that's what it is.
Okay,
well,
we must move on.
we squeezed some juice out of New Jersey. I watched it once, and
Yeah.
it was powerful.
Yeah, I knew that once we got talking,
Yeah.
we would remember. But yeah, really excited for part 3. We'll definitely talk about that.
Yeah. Okay, now.
Summer House Minute.
Okay, so the eclipse has moved. The sun is starting to shine on our beautiful summer house minute.
I want to say, what the hell did they do with the Summer House theme song? Where did she go?
Around the 5th season or the 4th season, they just have a wave entering the beach, and
I loved it.
Yeah, it doesn't exist after I think season 4, season 5. Now it's just the wave crashing.
Why?
So you didn't notice that until now?
I've noticed it this season. But you obviously just did a huge rewatch, so you could probably pinpoint exactly when it happened.
it was Dina Deadly as well.
Yeah.
And I think it just wasn't as iconic, or it wasn't hitting as hard as,
Sunset to sunrise, I'll show you the way.
And they showed Kyle always motor scootering in New York, on one of those little scooters.
I love it.
Yeah, it didn't hit me as hard, but I'm new to it,
It's just like kind of like quaint.
Yeah.
Like, it's like if you know, you know, especially now that it's not on anymore.
To me, the Southern Charm and then the VPR one just hit so hard.
Southern Charm is goated. Like, that is the most insane song.
I almost want to listen to it every time it's on. It's just so
and then
weird.
When they have the weird, like, remixed versions that have new lyrics.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Like, it'll be like,
Thomas is fun, and we still like him. Yeah.
Yeah, like, it'll be like, there's like, sometimes they slow it down.
Whoa. No, they don't, to make it sad. Like the somber version. Wait.
Or it's like, that boy is loco. Do you have heard
Yeah,
that one?
no. And what's the, is it Bada B?
Ba-ba-doo, ba-ba-dee-dee-dee.
I want to hear the somber version. Ba-ba-doo.
It's easy.
It's easy.
What the hell is that song?
I don't know. It's so silly and funny. And how did they land on that?
So it's about Thomas, right? Don't you think?
He's got money.
She's in magazines.
Oh, he is too?
Oh,
she's
in magazines?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
He's got money.
More honey than any honey.
It was interesting. Southern Charm started out as all these Southern gentlemen, and there's only like one female cast member. It was like
Patricia
full.
would always have her men's only dinner.
Yeah, I know. It was really strange. And then it's evolved past that. I'm only on the 3rd season, so the cast is still pretty much the same. Southern Charm is a wild journey. I'm so glad I watched it.
It's so good.
When does it end? So I'm in season 3. I feel like I'm in peak. When does it start to dwindle?
I'm trying to remember. I feel like, how many seasons are there now?
I have no clue. 8.
I feel like
they're on
there's a
8.
COVID season that I feel like all shows that have
it
COVID
drops
seasons
off.
suck.
Okay.
And then they sort of get into, because it obviously the COVID summer was like the Black Lives Matter summer.
Oh, okay.
And so then they get into like the historical monuments
Oh,
and everything, which
okay.
is interesting. And Catherine handles it very poorly. She's like problematic.
Oh no, Catherine, my favorite cast member, Catherine and Thomas.
But they bring in some new cast. Like, I think like that's when Leva is fully on,
Okay.
and then a couple other figures that it feels like they were they wanted to have people of color to talk about that issue, but it kind of felt like they were giving them an assignment of like, all right, like this is on you guys to like decode this for these like problematic people.
Okay.
And it wasn't particularly fun to watch.
Okay. All right.
Even though I know that overall I would say it's kind of hard to talk about, but slavery is truly the underbelly of that show. That's why they all have money.
Yes.
And it's really a weird thing to watch.
Yeah, I think you're right. There is this undercurrent there.
Like they're all like, I'm going for the summer at my grandma's plantation, and like Thomas just straight up has a plantation.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm in for a
So it's interesting. It makes it, I don't know. I don't want to say, I feel problematic saying that it's not fun because it is tackling what is the truth about that region and the legacies of those families, because that is very interesting.
Right.
But it felt like a little bit like, I don't know if it was like produced in the best way.
Okay. Yeah.
But let me know when you get there.
Okay. That's fine. And that was this, Southern Charm minute.
The Southern Charm minute. Holy shit, we get so off track.
So Summer House, right?
Minute.
But to get us back to Summer House, I just wanted to say, who didn't have a bad COVID season of all of the Housewives shows?
Right.
Summer House had the best season.
Right, because they're set up perfectly for it.
I think season 5, that's what it was, Summer House, is the best COVID season of any show I've ever seen because it's just them in the house. They can't leave. They're going stir crazy.
Right.
Hannah is getting so horny with Des that she has to have sex with him in every single room in the house. So,
yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, it kind of, I feel like, set the tone for them not needing to show them in the city anymore, right? Because they used to always kind of, it felt a little labored looking back of like having them walk and talk. Did Carl hit his quota?
Yeah.
Like Lindsay doing like PR events. Like they really wanted to justify the like work hard, play hard.
Totally.
And then I feel like after they realized that like all the juice is in the house, now we like barely ever go to the city. It's just like,
true.
it's Friday.
But I personally do like the glimpses of the city. Like when like Sierra had that party halfway through, or when Carl and Lindsay invited everybody to the Rad House estate.
Yeah.
I like those moments in the city. I almost think like
it
they
freshens
could
it up a little.
do more in the city because it would give them more content to work with, I guess.
Yeah.
Or if they ever transitioned out of Summer House because Kyle doesn't want to go to a summer house with people he hates anymore.
Right.
I would focus on Amanda and Kyle and Loverboy in New York City.
Yeah.
I just want to see what their work week is like. But I think maybe Kyle doesn't do anything fun during the week.
He's working.
Yeah, he's working his ass off.
But yeah, like we've gotten to see their apartment a couple times with their puppies.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm down. But it felt like the COVID era was like the show finally embraced just being in the house.
Yeah, see, Paige and Hannah were very welcome cast additions, especially Paige.
Yeah.
And Sierra brings it to life in season 5. Luke was great for how unhinged everyone acts around him and how much they hate him.
They should have him record a new theme song.
Luke on his guitar?
Yeah.
That would be so awesome.
I think I've already sung this here, but me and Jimmy's favorite was one time they cut to like the bedroom footage and he's just playing by himself and his song went, suit and tie, hair slick back.
Suit and tie? Is he talking about Kyle?
Who knows?
During the work week? Luke, but okay, this is the Summer House Minute. Luke did start to lose a little bit of his luster after I'd had 3 seasons of him. He stopped bringing it in terms of any drama. He just was a fixture there. And so I kind of understand the need to move past Luke.
Yeah. I feel like the last crazy thing that happened was that he wanted to have sex with the rock climbing wall girl, or was it the berries? And then Carl like has like a mental breakdown.
I want to watch. I would watch Summer House again right now. I almost tried to put it on from season 1 just because I want to watch it all over again. It's so good. Okay, so this reunion. Okay, so if I'm correct, it kind of starts with the Kyle and Carl drama, right? Like, which was very touching, heartbreaking. Andy brings up Kyle's comment about Carl doing lines of coke while coming coked up to Loverboy for getting his laptop.
Yeah.
Second instance on Bravo, third instance of coke being used, where it can be a part of the world of a Bravo show.
It's a huge no-no.
Yes.
As far as like calling out your cast.
Like when Renna said it, it was like earth-shattering, like nails on the chalkboard.
Yeah.
Like, how the hell could you ever say the word coke?
Bravo.
And then why is Vanderpump Rules the most coke-fueled universe in the world, and they can't say coke?
They've never said it?
They've never said coke.
Yeah.
Tom Sandoval calls it uppers. They call it pasta. They say everything but coke.
Adderall, they say. But never mentioned.
Tom Sandoval alludes to Jax doing coke by saying, "Hey, have you ever noticed how congested Jax is all the time?" But anyway,
Kyle obviously, like, he immediately apologized. He said he felt so bad. Carl kind of shed some light on the subject, saying that he kind of did the same thing to his brother by revealing his brother's addiction issues in his summer house confessionals. And he said his brother was excited to watch the show and was like, that's my brother, and turned it on and was like, wow, you were talking shit. Like, you like aired my dirty laundry, basically.
Yeah.
And they like hadn't spoken because of that until, well, ever again.
Yeah.
'Cause
Like
he died.
they never had a good relationship after that.
That was so sad.
That was so sad. Carl is crying. He's also saying, he's like, I didn't want, it causes me so much shame to have that, like, my past, brought up, and I wish that I could have been the one to tell that. That's the second time that Carl's had some like major fact about his life outed to the world.
Yeah.
And then Kyle obviously is so sad, but then Carl's like, I'm in your position though, because I did the same thing, so I can see both sides of this. They both are just like bawling, crying because they love each other.
Yeah.
Andy is crying.
Yeah.
Andy's crying.
Andy is so emotional. Everybody's emotional. And again, on the giving more than he usually does, Andy talks about friends in his life who are addicts and how, you can't shame an addict more than they shame themselves. Like, they carry more shame than you can imagine.
Yes.
And yeah, he keeps kind of like, just interjecting these understanding moments that are more empathetic than usual.
Yes.
He's like had a shift, I think.
He did. Something about like this year. I think you're right. It's like his presence in the reunions is very different.
Yeah.
It's like more of a mediator than just, I'm just asking questions and I'll let the darts fly.
Right.
He's kind of getting in there, which, I like, because I respect Andy's opinion on almost everything that I've seen him take a stand on.
Yeah, especially now that we saw that he took up defense for Danielle. I can rest easy.
Rad House fans, how do you feel that
Suck it.
how do you feel that Andy fully validated Danielle stands, and he basically had to tell Lindsay, how the hell can you not see how Danielle's feelings were hurt by this whole thing? I mean, that felt good.
Yeah,
it wasn't like he was
so happy.
I was so happy too.
Because leading up, I was firmly convinced that he was pro Rad House.
Rad House fans are pissed. Well, I only heard that from you. I have only heard from you that in his book or something he's pro.
Well, he said when he was very nice to Lindsay on Watch What Happens Live, and he accepted her narrative about how they have been friends for 7 years, and so that means that they're not moving too fast. Like, he was like, yeah, like he was on board with that. So I was like, that was red flag number one. And then in his book he says that Rad House is the couple, like the number one Bravo couple that everyone's rooting for.
Number one Bravo couple on the internet,
right?
On Twitter and Reddit, apparently.
Yeah. Toxic.
I've never met anyone in real life who has said they support Lindsay and Carl's journey,
right,
or didn't think it was too fast,
right?
Or, yeah, I mean, it's only on Reddit, Reddit and Twitter.
It's so weird.
It's really, it's weird. I don't want to get too much in Reddit because I don't want to pay attention to that, and I don't want that to ever inform our opinions. I like having a clean slate where we just talk about it. The Summer House Reddit is shocking.
Yeah.
Their takes and their opinions in there, it is like a toxic, horrible nightmare where if you say Paige is cool, they like ban you.
Yeah. No, it's like truly like bizarro Twilight Zone
Opposite.
in there. I get so confused.
Me too. I'm like, what the hell kind of show are we
Who
watching?
am I?
Who am I in this Reddit?
They were like, I don't know if it was Reddit or I ended up on like a subgroup on Facebook that I never look at that is the same exact opinions. And they were like, so sick of Andy being on the wrong side of history yet again.
Yeah.
And then they were all like, I'm done with this show. And it's like, okay, bye.
Goodbye. Someone, I swear, someone said if Paige is on next season, I won't be watching. Like they've just gotten over Paige so much that they can't stand her. She's been on the show for what, now 5 seasons.
Yeah,
like,
it's insane.
Yeah. But
yeah,
enough about those
Andy
people.
Literally, so he essentially, Danielle took accountability for her end and said she regrets how she handled the engagement party. She made a little joke that she wishes she talked to like 3 fewer people.
Laugh out loud for me.
Yeah.
Just 3 fewer than the 4 that they capture on
yeah.
camera.
She said She, would never want to take the shine away from their celebration. She only wants the best, blah, blah, blah. And, but she did say she didn't regret anything that she said in her conversation with Lindsay
And then Lindsay
in the
says,
kitchen.
And then Lindsay says, "Oh yeah, exact same thing for me. I
Yeah.
do not regret
No
anything
regrets.
I said."
And she goes, "You don't regret anything you said?"
Yeah.
Like, she said, like, not only was she so cold and dismissive, but she said, like, you won't be invited to my wedding. She, like, basically just showed that she didn't care at all. I feel like any sane human being would come out of that regretting being so cold and say something like, I think she kind of tried to say that she, like, she was like, I was done. Like,
Yeah.
I was done at that point. And a lot of the defenders online are like, Danielle's allowed to, like, lose her mind over how she's being treated, but Lindsay's not allowed to shut down. And it's like, she's allowed to do whatever she wants, but she is coming off like a cold, heartless
she's
person.
Yeah, she's allowed to do whatever she wants, and she did it. It was awful. She treated Danielle like garbage, and that's why Danielle's feelings have been so hurt. Andy's trying to convey this to Lindsay, like, "Hey, did you hear
like,
how she just apologized?" Yeah, and then Lindsay's like, "Oh yeah, oh okay, well, I don't know. We'll take it from here. I don't know how I'm gonna like." Lindsay's just like, not even there. She can't argue with shit.
No, she's like not paying attention. Andy has to be like, did you hear that she apologized? He literally takes like a full 5 minutes of production time.
Yes, to explain it.
Every single thing that has happened. He was like, do you understand that her being left out hurt her feelings, and that she said that she was acting out because her feelings were hurt, which she now has apologized for?
Yeah.
Like, it was insane.
It really was. So this just brought to mind. So Carl has a sort of huge moment where he is talking about how he didn't explicitly try to deny Danielle that prior information about the engagement. He just didn't think about Danielle.
Yeah.
Do you agree or believe him that just Danielle just wasn't on his mind at all through the process, and it wasn't a deliberate shunning? It was just he didn't think about her the whole time.
I can't decide which is more offensive.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Because my inclination is that he would have included her if the circumstances were different, but he thought Lindsay would get pissed if Danielle was involved.
Oh, and is that like something he doesn't want to say? Because we didn't hear that
Yeah.
Lindsay specifically said, please don't tell Danielle beforehand because she's such a hater.
Right.
Because we're supposed to believe that she had no idea about the engagement,
Right.
which is the biggest fallacy, or
Right.
like ridiculous notion.
Because it would make total sense, like Danielle was saying, for her to be the liaison of the planning committee to get all those people flying in. Like, she knows all those people.
Right.
Like, they're the ones she was talking to about how she didn't know.
It was iconic that she was telling all those people how she felt at someone's engagement. Like, that's
She's like, just found out an hour ago. I'll just go fuck myself.
I love it. Like, Danielle I'm a fan of you for 5 years after that. You
Yeah.
could do anything wrong, and that was iconic.
Yeah. But yeah, like, why wouldn't he use Danielle for that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that would make so much sense.
You're right.
And it would have brought them probably closer together. Like, maybe Lindsay would have been annoying, but if Danielle planned their engagement party and facilitated like 20 people getting flown in, that would be like a gift she was giving to them.
For real.
And then it would have wiped out the judgment, because she'd be like, look at how I'm supporting you at this event. Like,
Yes.
I'm helping you celebrate your love. Aren't you happy now that I'm on board? But like, she wasn't granted that opportunity.
Yeah. And Lindsay wouldn't have been happy, even if Danielle would have made
she
that.
can't win, honestly.
No. She wrote her off. It's the Occam's razor, the easiest, the simplest theory is the right one. Lindsay cast Danielle aside the minute she got Carl, didn't care about her, treated her like dirt.
Yeah.
And Danielle feels the full brunt of that, is so upset that she spent 7 years with Lindsay in her corner, fighting for her relationships, and then when it actually happens, does not get any benefit or credit or get to be a part of it in any way. It's awful to be treated like that.
I feel like everyone was like repeatedly shocked. Like, when like Lindsay was like, I have no regrets, Amanda, like, her jaw dropped.
I love it. And then Kyle can't even help it. He's just like, your reaction to that fight in the kitchen was the most, what do you say, emotionless,
Yeah.
cold,
Yeah.
like
person
thing I've
ever
ever
seen in my life.
Which
yeah.
Kyle, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. That's how we all feel.
Yeah.
Except the Kyle haters,
Right.
which I can't believe you're watching Summer House if you hate Kyle. It's
Right.
his show.
Right.
Him and Amanda's show.
Yeah. And then I feel like they didn't, I don't know. I was a little bit ultimately let down by this part 2.
Okay.
I felt like it left me wanting more.
I know. I mean, I wanted it to be 3 parts.
Yeah, and like by the end, once Andy sort of set them up to, get along again or whatever, it felt like Danielle was kind of like down or like balls in your court to Lindsay, like that she would be friends with her again, which I don't know if she was just trying to like placate or whatever, but I was like, why do you even want to be her friend anymore?
I agree with that sentiment. I totally agree with it, but it actually makes Danielle even more likable for me because it shows that her relationship with Lindsay was genuine all those years, and she still does want her back. And I like that about Danielle because obviously for us, we would write Lindsay off to hell.
Yeah.
We would never see her again. But Danielle did care about their friendship. So if Lindsay wanted to, make amends or whatever, Danielle taking her back just means that Danielle was in the right this whole time even more.
Right.
This was a friendship that mattered to her. So I think it's sweet that
hope
Danielle.
that she at least now is aware of their dynamic and she can call her out moving forward for being a shitty friend.
Well, also, Lindsay is not going to let, like next season, hypothetically, Lindsay's not going to let Danielle be a bridge between her and Paige and Amanda and stuff. She's going to be like, you have to choose between us. And Danielle will not be able to have the same relationship with both sides of the house, I don't think.
Yeah, that was interesting.
What about Gabby and Sam and Corey and Chris just sucking up to Carl and Lindsay? Like, they know where their bread is going to be buttered next season. They're like, this house is going to be so divided next year. If we're on Carl and Lindsay's, they'll have friends.
I hope they wipe them out, even though obviously Sam and Corey will 100% be in.
I was like, you guys are guaranteed. Corey is going to be just a cast member next season.
100%.
Yeah. You can't have
he basically already is.
Yeah.
And then I saw, was it Sam that posted or Lindsay that posted? It
little
was
sister.
Yeah, she's like, love you, little sis, about Sam. And I'm like, get a life. She's like 25 years old. Like, God, you're like 40. Come on.
But I if that's their strategy, I know it's a strategy. I know you guys don't. So transparent. I know you guys don't like it, but if that's going to get you for another season, which you were all on the chopping block. Gabby, you were on the chopping block.
I still think Chris is fucked.
I think Chris is out.
Gabby's fucked.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. If they keep really digging in there and they become Carl and Lindsay's like ride or dies like they're doing now, I think
Sam and Corey are enough.
Sam and Corey will be the Carl and Lindsay allies, and that'll be it. And Danielle will be like bouncing between.
Don't you think? And then maybe someone new? You think they need to bring back Chris and Gabby?
I think they're going to bring back Gabby and not Chris.
Okay.
Chris flopped
Gabby
so hard.
Talk. Like,
yeah,
she even.
She was uncomfortable on camera, and she also is someone that doesn't seem like she knows herself very well, so she wanted to appear one way on camera.
Axe Maya?
No.
People online are like against.
Why?
I mean, she doesn't bring a ton. I think she seems like a very cool person. Like, I actually want to be friends with her. You know what I mean? But she, it is a cardinal sin to hide your relationship drama. They had to use the behind closed door audio because she didn't do a good enough job taking her mic off.
Yeah, I know.
So I think they probably, if they do bring her back, are going to be like, and you don't hide stuff from us.
So my thoughts, Maya is amazing.
Yeah.
She's actually funny. She's actually smart.
Yeah.
She's actually such good friends with Sierra and Amanda and Paige.
Yeah.
So she's an organic, actual friend.
They've been hanging out in the city, posting fun TikToks.
Not everyone needs to be a 10 out of 10 creating fireworks in terms of personality. You need someone who's low-key and fun. I love the relationship with Oliver until it dismantled. She'll be single next season, which is amazing. And you get one of those production... She had never been... the victim of cheating on television before. This is her first actual big drama. I know it sucks that she tried to get away from it.
I mean, it was also kind of juicier, the fact that she tried to hide it. It was kind of interesting to watch. You know?
She even made it a little more entertaining, which is cool. I love Maya. She is. It's hard to cast these shows because it is. We are seeing every aspect of someone's personality, and if you're lame or boring, we see it in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But Maya, I think, is bringing a lot. I mean, I really
think she brings much more than Gabby, obviously. But Yeah, and it's like, I feel like, so Paige brings the most fire of that group, and then Amanda, by way of, I don't want to relegate her to being like an addition to her husband, but like Amanda plus Kyle is a dynamic duo.
Yeah.
I don't know how much she would stand on her own without that, because she also is just kind of like a normal person.
Yeah, but she's so well. Yeah, I get what you're saying, like totally. But
like all of them combined,
yes,
as a group is fun.
Yes, an organic,
Yeah.
beautiful friendship where you can tell they actually love each other. Amanda and Paige love each other.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah.
Amanda and Sierra love each other. Like I love seeing their friend group. It doesn't matter if one is bringing a little less.
Right.
I still think Amanda, brings it, and she's so fun. And it's not really disparaging to say that she's an addition to Kyle because their relationship is also what is so fun to watch.
Right.
I love how much they love each other.
Totally.
Beautiful. One of the best relationships in Bravo. People will say, the cheating that he did. But it's like,
They've moved past it.
They moved past it. Amanda forgives him, and they have a beautiful, loving relationship that you can see with every glint in their eyes.
Totally. Yeah, and then I feel like Sierra is extra safe because of her ties to Austin. Like, Bravo is so hell-bent on combining what did Andy call it? Like, the, under 42s or whatever.
Oh, no, I didn't hear him say that.
Basically, like, the Summer House, Southern Charm, Vanderpump trifecta.
So he wants them all to party together,
right?
In Winter House.
Did you see there was a Dumois blind item that James was DJing in Charleston, and there were cameras there, so people think it's either for Southern Charm or Southern Hospitality. So I'm like, yet again, they're inserting the combo platter.
James in Charleston is fun.
Yeah, James in Charleston, Paige and Craig going back and forth. You had the blip of Sierra / Lindsay / Austin. Then you have Toms that go to Winter House.
And apparently Schwartz makes out with someone at Winter House.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I don't know who, because I don't know what the full cast is, but apparently he does a little bit of kissing.
Yes. In the literal storm of Scandival.
Do you think his kiss will be a little better than the Raquel kiss?
I hope so. That was gross.
Sickening. He even
Despite
admitted
what
it.
he thought.
No, but he admitted
Yeah.
it was disgusting.
Yeah, he's like, is that what I look like?
I know, that was good. I'm glad he was he belittled his
Right.
kissing ability.
Well, in true Bravo fashion, should we transition from Summer House to Vanderpump Rules?
I think I'm ready. I feel like we did that reunion for Summer House justice. For me, it was a great season. I was going to say I think the consensus is that was a boring season but these are all the same people that hate Paige and Sierra and stuff, so who knows? But I thought that was a beautiful season, powerful reunion. Can't wait for season 8, right?
Yep.
Or is that what it is? The next one, season 8? I don't know.
I've lost count.
And then it'll be amazing just for you and I to get to witness firsthand all of that partying when we get invited.
Yeah, in our horror outfits.
Yeah, and I guess we're kind of we're sort of hell-bent on being monsters, so no matter what the theme is, we'll try to justify, Frankenstein and the mummy or whatever we're going to dress up as.
Even if it's safari or...
It'll just work. If it's a mummy outfit, you just put it in what would you do? You make it a little
attached by a
loincloth.
lion.
Yeah, and so it's... Right. Or Frankenstein, you take the bolts out of your head and you say... you put some stripes on your body.
Bones.
And it's easy. And to be honest, we don't have to workshop it now, right?
We have time. Well, actually, it's June.
Oh, Kyle, Amanda, I
want to
know.
go for July 4th.
Why don't we just go to Southampton Social on July 4th? We just spend all of the...
We just lurk around the corner.
Yeah. I'll spend, $2,000 of my own money to go on a trip uninvited to Southampton Social for the 4th of July.
Yeah.
All right, but you're right. Okay, let's put Summer House in the dust, put it to bed, and let's wake up to this part 3 of this kind of
3 reunion. Oh my god.
kind of shocking, dark, evil,
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
Subhuman, demented. It was demented.
Yeah.
I was saying I did a TikTok of just quick thoughts or whatever.
Yeah.
Saying it's amazing or awesome or so fun. It's not true. It
Right.
was engaging.
Yeah.
It was entertaining, from a dramatic standpoint, but it was dark and awful and
Yeah.
not cathartic.
No.
It ends on such a dark note.
Yeah.
Evil.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh. I've like loved this journey, and obviously it like birthed our podcast, and like
Yes.
I do enjoy talking about it, but the way in which we will be cleansed from not having to talk about this every week anymore, the toxicity.
Yes. Yes.
It's like it gets so dirty.
Yeah.
Like, again, I am not trying to play devil's advocate or whatever, but like we were saying, they filmed it so close to when everyone found out that the hate in the vitriol in the room, even though the targets deserve it, etc., it's like it truly seems like they won't stop until they're dead.
Yes.
Like, it's like a level, again, I understand their behavior deserves cruelty, whatever, but it like made me question like what it is to be human at all. Like, I was like, death penalty yet again. Like, I'm like, do they deserve the death penalty? Is that what you guys are saying?
Yeah, like a hatch opens up beneath their chairs. Schwartz is still in the middle, but they both go descend into an incinerator and die. It was like
I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, it really felt like they wanted them to end their lives by what they were saying.
I mean, if James would have said kill yourself, it wouldn't have seemed so out of...
I feel like if they weren't on TV, they would basically be saying that.
Yeah, I mean, Lala or James were ready to say, like, kill yourselves, goodbye, rid the world of you. It was so close to that.
It was dark. Like, whatever, we'll get into it. And
we should do an in-depth recap, like scene by scene. It was so flowing and filled with vitriol,
we
like you
don't
said.
have to like say every single thing.
Yeah.
But I
You-
wrote down like almost everything that
good.
stood out, so
Yeah.
I can at least moderate like the main important mentions. But
Yeah.
it's very long. The pumped up version was 1 hour and 7 minutes.
But you gotta watch the pumped up version, hearing the curse
the
words.
F-bombs.
The F-bombs, the see you next Tuesdays, they cut like a knife.
Yeah.
I've never heard see you next Tuesday said that many times ever. It was said like 30 times. That you have to hear the curses because you have to feel the full power of Ariana's hatred, of James's hatred, of Lala's hatred. They're just,
I wonder how many F-bombs there were. I almost posted a photo, maybe I still will, but in a Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Rooney Mara wears a t-shirt that says, "Fuck you, you fucking fuck."
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like someone said something like that like every 7 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, totally. It was every curse combination you could do.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. I was like writing it down. I was like, okay, wait, did they say like fucking fuck or like
right.
fuck you, fucking bitch, or like bitch fuck you?
Yeah, it's so funny to be now aware of the cursing in this because it's a show where they curse nonstop, but the bleeps just go into the background. And now when you hear them curse, you're like, damn, they're whipping it up in here.
I was like, I have to get this right. But yeah, so like it immediately opens up with Sheena iconically in the trailer. They make a meal out of that. She looks so uncomfortable and like on edge and like angry.
Yeah.
Like her neck
Yes.
is like tense.
Yes.
Like she's not relaxed in any way.
Yeah. She's still so fired up from the first 2 parts. She was just sent to the trailer and she's just like, trying to cool down while watching the actual reunion.
Which honestly kind of sounds like a blessing. I know that she probably had FOMO and like wanted to be included and say her piece to Raquel because obviously she was lied to as well. But honestly, it sounds kind of nice to be able to be like, I'm going to go sit in the trailer. I don't need to deal with this.
And also her presence was felt the entire time. The fact that they kept cutting to her reactions was iconic. Her in the trailer just sitting there with a White Claw was iconic. So she doesn't feel removed from this at all. And honestly, Raquel's part, just to say generally, I felt Raquel's presence there for the 30 minutes she was out there or whatever was so boring because Raquel doesn't know how to articulate herself.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what's going on. She never has any emotion. So then they actually just bring out Sheena at the end to wrap it up. It was like the Raquel part was like a blip of it ultimately.
Yeah. And she was lying the whole time.
Yeah, totally lying.
Which we discovered at the end. But
so
she really couldn't say shit. And that's probably why she wasn't emotional, is because,
She's
whatever. Everyone's going to say she's a sociopath. I disagree. I think sociopaths are more cunning.
I disagree completely too. You can't call Raquel a sociopath.
But yeah, she probably was emotionless because she had to hold it all together in her chamber of lies, because if she said anything or got emotional when she was telling the truth, she was crying.
I know, which we'll get to.
So,
I mean,
anyways,
wow. Okay, so yeah, you're right. She was sent out there to lie about a specific timeline. So how? Yeah, you're right. How like emotional and impactful, and like how can you take everything in when you know you have to keep a narrative in your head, and we know that it's hard for her to.
That's like terrifying to know what the like red flags are, what is gonna come up. Sandoval looks so on edge when Raquel comes out, because he's probably like, fuck, like what is she gonna say? Is she gonna hold to our story? Like he's trying to sort of back her up but also keep to himself.
Yes.
Like there are certain things they're willing to cop to, other things they're not. Like for anyone that would be very stressful and hard, but especially Raquel.
I know. It's so hard for her to keep this timeline in her head. And Sandoval's only defense of himself in this whole thing is the timeline.
Yeah.
He keeps saying, once.
I know.
Once. It happened once, but then it picked back up, and then it became a relationship in January. His timeline makes no sense.
It's so convoluted. It's like what he was trying to do with the dipped out thing,
Yes.
where it's like, that's not doing what you think it's doing. You're confusing people, and you think that that's throwing them off the scent, but actually it's making us want to even firm up even further what you're trying to say.
Right.
Like if you were just like, he thinks that he's like a mastermind, and it's the opposite.
Totally. So yeah, his timeline makes no sense. He says it was once, and then he said things picked up after the Life is Beautiful festival, which was in September. So that's a month between these making love sessions, and then it became love in January. He's saying, right? But it's just so his only what's it called? His only defense is just that he keeps saying it wasn't an affair at this point, right?
But then he goes, they were like, this is jumping ahead, but
yeah.
Andy was like, were you nervous when all those people, including Andros, James's dad, went to the Abbey? And he said that he wasn't nervous because they weren't doing anything wrong, but they previously said that they did kiss at the Abbey.
I know.
So I'm like, what are you talking about?
I asked that same question. I said, the Abbey, I thought we found out that the Abbey
first
actually,
night.
it was when sparks flew when they kissed. So then now they're trying to like pretend the Abbey wasn't that big of a deal.
It's so confusing. And
they were kissing in front of Andros.
He was probably like,
what's going on?
All right. London gangsta.
That's how you unlock his accent. All right.
London gangsta.
London gangsta.
Speaking of London gangsters, they talk about Vanderpump Vegas, and Andy says, how's business in Vegas? And Lisa goes, fantastic.
Yes. She was like, thank you, Andy. Thank you for asking. It's actually doing the best ever in the world.
The reunion was decorated with Vanderpump Elaine lighting fixtures.
So is that like a cross combo decor?
Yeah, you can buy them.
A collab.
Yeah. I was helping my friend. I'm a little bit of a hobbyist interior designer. Oh. Like sometimes when friends are like, our friend Jen is redoing her bathroom.
Your place looks beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. I sometimes help friends when they want, because I think it's fun. But I was sending some lighting fixture links for their bathroom, and I dropped in a Vanderpump Elaine fixture as a gag.
That's funny, just to make sure that she was paying attention. That's really good. No one has ever, Lisa's never loved anyone more, I guess, besides Ken and maybe Max, then she loves Nick Elaine.
That's right.
He is a twisted genius.
Oh my god,
she is
steampunk,
gorgeous
man.
She loves Nick Elaine.
Yeah, with his little like Nikola Tesla glasses.
Oh yeah, he is kind of iconic when you see him.
Totally. She said Vanderpump à Paris is one of the most beautiful restaurants in Vegas, and I have to agree.
I know. Well, the first podcast we ever had was after you had just been back from Vegas. You said it up front that it was the culmination of all of Lisa's beautiful design skills.
Yes.
And So I can't wait to go. and I love that it was just verified that Lisa thinks this is the most beautiful. She said most beautiful restaurant in Vegas.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's like the perfect theme. Like she pushes that theme on all of the restaurants, but in a gothic romance, like turn of the century France vibe. It makes the most sense.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to go. You know, our bridge to BravoCon just got a little more built. We are really
Hopefully.
close to. Well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, also, if you're a little turtle cutie and you happen to be in the Bravo press community, Amy and I really have to go to BravoCon with press passes, don't you think?
Yeah, we tried emailing.
Bravo.
If you want to email us, turtletimepod@gmail.com. Don't flood our inbox unless you can get us to BravoCon.
You can send us a couple emails, but we really need press passes. And I promise, Bravo, this is going to be content that you are going to love. We're going to make BravoCon look like it is. What's the biggest festival of all time that everyone loves? Woodstock 69?
Or Altamont.
We're going to make it look like Woodstock 69 and not Woodstock 99. That was the mud year.
Yeah, the shit
Did you-
mixed with the mud.
Did you watch the documentary where Limp Bizkit
I
just
watched
basically...
both.
You did.
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit goes out there, and it's basically like like a bomb went off. Like their show really set Woodstock '99 on fire, metaphorically and literally, because I think they started torching the thing.
Yeah, and Red Hot Chili Peppers started singing like, "Let me set it to your fire." Like they were like, "Fire, fire, fire," and they were like, "No, don't do that."
I liked it, and also I liked that the first night of Woodstock '99 was fine. It was like Blur or someone was performing, and it was just in Korn, and it was calm and nice. Whatever. Okay, wait. You gotta stop talking about Woodstock 99.
Yeah, you should watch that if you can. It's very funny. I mean, there's upsetting things that happen as well, but
awful
just
stuff.
absolutely disgusting. They did it on like a tarmac.
Yes.
So it was
The
just
ugliest
radiating
environment.
heat.
Yes, awful. Barely any water. Selling water for like $50.
Beer was cheaper than water,
But if you want,
so everyone just got so toasted.
but if you want to see the best, most iconic performance in history, watch Limp Bizkit perform to Woodstock '99. It is like the wildest thing I've ever seen.
He's a demon.
Oh, Fred Durst.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't advocate for Limp Bizkit, and I don't like their music at all. But just watch that performance. It's definitely interesting to watch.
Totally.
Okay.
Time and place. Okay. So they go to the Havasu portion.
Yes.
Lala reiterates, "I wouldn't trust you with my man." Rachel tries to...
Are you officially calling her Rachel now?
I just did right now, and it comes out of the mouth easier, but I'll probably switch back and forth because that does come up.
That's something that we haven't done.
Yeah, it's just kind of hard. You have to stop in the middle. It's like Raquel.
I know.
Or
And Rachel's a little
Rachel
easier.
is
Okay.
like one, but anyways, so she's just so bad at sticking up for herself, which makes this whole thing really painful to watch because I do think that Lala is full of shit in a lot of ways in this category, as we've discussed before about calling her a mistress, which of course now you can't win that argument because she turned out to be the biggest mistress of all time.
Right.
So there's no going back on that, no putting the genie back in the bottle. But
Yes.
Lala will not admit that she was once a mistress because she says that she didn't know, which fine, sure, I know you were lied to, I believe that, but you also kind of turned a blind eye to what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, you're just like Lala is smart. You're just acting like you weren't smart in that era of your life. You knew something weird was going on there. You had to have known. And then and then she's like, okay, but I'm now best friends with Randall's ex. She's ready to let the mistress era, on her be over. I think, like you said, Raquel doesn't really have, she can't really stand up against that accusation
She's
anymore.
Trying. And Raquel, this is when she tries to apologize to Ariana and, says she was very selfish. And this is when we start right out the gates with Ariana's selfish does not fucking cover it, bitch. How about diabolical, demented, disgusting, subhuman?
Yeah.
And literally at the bar last night, people were chanting them out. They already knew. They were like, diabolical, demented, disgusting,
Subhuman! Yeah, we've been seeing this for weeks. It was finally. So the minute it gets to Ariana, I forget, but it is like she has her one chance. She says everything awful. Like,
Yeah.
just let it pour, the hatred pour
Oof.
at Raquel.
Yeah. And then Raquel, bless her heart, says, actually, my actions were human.
Yes. I feel like my actions are human. It's like, oh man, this is going to be a long reunion, Raquel, if that's the counter you're providing.
Yeah, and it's like, girl, this is not the time or place to talk about human nature. We do not have time.
No, please.
And then Tom is trying to help her, like saying like, yeah, like that is human. And they're all just like, shut the fuck up. Shut up, Tom. Shut up. And Andy goes, I would like to hear what both of you have to say.
Yeah, which...
This is when Sandoval's timeline gets all confusing.
One time.
Yeah, he's fucked once versus fucking. He's trying to say like we weren't having sex at that time. Like,
so in his narrative, his perfect timeline, that it happened once, then it didn't happen again until he fell in love with her in January, and then it picked up, and then he was trying to break up with Ariana, and then that. Like, his timeline makes no sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. That's the thing. That's why it's so confusing for all of us.
Yeah.
Is because we keep trying to put together the information and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up because it's wrong.
Yeah.
And he keeps changing it. And he told Schwartz one thing. He told, Raquel to say one thing, what he said.
But why even say one time when, even in his own defense, in his own timeline, he admits that he didn't only have sex with her once. He's admitted to sex multiple times.
Right. James at one point like leans over to Lala and says like, why does he keep saying one time? We know it's not more than one time. He thinks that like if he can compartmentalize this information into like, well, it wasn't that bad at that time.
Right.
So if we're talking about, if you're judging me for my behavior in the month of September, I was in the clear at that time. Even though we had already fucked once, we weren't fucking all fall and winter.
And Raquel says something like that too to Lala. She's like, at that point in my life, I was a good person up until this point. It's like, well, we use all the evidence against you to reflect on your past as well. I'm sorry. We don't have established timelines when we're supposed to.
Which that defense worked before we know what we know now. Like when I watched the Havasu Vegas episode, I was like, they are being so mean to her.
We were fully on Raquel's side, even knowing what we knew.
Right, because I was like, they don't know that yet, so they're just being cruel without the information.
And
we
Lala's
have
being
now.
a hypocrite, one of the biggest hypocrites ever. She just told Raquel for the first time ever that she cheated with James on Raquel, and then asked her to get over it within 2 seconds. Like, get over it. What are you doing? Why
and
are you talking
now
about
it's
that?
impossible to have that conversation because
it's impossible, honestly. It's just impossible for Sandoval and Raquel to have anything to say in this reunion in this context, because everything they say, anything they think is a defense, does not work. So it's just an onslaught against them. They can't have any defense for anything they say.
Again, like in the crowd we were watching it with, it's fun when there's slam dunk after slam dunk against them, but it's after a while slightly upsetting in my opinion. But then Andy brings up the conversation that Raquel and Ariana have about her waning sex life. Andy says, knowing what we know now, it comes off as diabolical. Lisa says she's never seen anything like it before. Andy says, I've never seen anything like it.
So diabolical started to be the word of choice for Lisa, Andy, and Ariana. Diabolical.
Raquel says, it was so hard for me to watch, which is an eye roll because it's like, get over it.
She goes, it was so cringe. She said that.
Yeah.
It was so cringe.
Which I'm like, everything you say is cringe.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. She said they cut to in Andy's interview, and he says, like, did you tell Sandoval to break up with Ariana? Was that a conversation you had going on? And she said, as a friend, first and foremost, I just wanted him to see if he was happy. So she was just, I don't know, trying to weasel her way out of that one, just saying like, as a friend, I don't think you're happy. And Ariana goes the fuck off. She says, fuck yourself with a cheese grater. Fuck you, you fucking suck. Fuck yourself with a cheese grater?
Damn.
Oh my God.
Is that why Ariana is holding a grilled cheese in that "fuck me in my t-shirt" shirt?
Maybe. I definitely thought about that.
Right?
Because at first when I couldn't
it's
read what it
cheese.
said, and I was like, does it say fuck yourself with a cheese grater?
People are
I was like,
wearing that
that's very
shirt.
intense.
I don't know. I think there's a combo there.
Yet again, not giving English cottage.
Yeah, no. Fuck yourself with a cheese grater.
They're like, we serve a beautiful English goat's cheese sandwich on a whole wheat with sprouts, and it comes in a wrapping paper that says "fuck yourself" with a cheese grater.
Right.
And then Sandoval tries to say, "We don't live by logic," and everyone laughs. Like he can't say shit about anything.
Yeah.
But mostly because everything he says is completely idiotic.
He doesn't get one good line off. Whether he's making fun of James's accent, he says, look at you. His comebacks are so bad. It's like he's withered down and he can't think
Totally.
of anything succinct or powerful to say.
And he knows he's blowing it.
Oh.
And it's like imploding.
Oh yeah, I mean,
And-
he said last reunion, he's like, I am blowing this.
Yes. So yeah, there's a back and forth about Raquel tries to stand up and say, Lala and James can't talk because they fucked. And then Lala's like, I wasn't your best friend, ho. And James yet again tries to do the youth defense. I was a kid. I was 25. Lala says, you were a no name. Like, it doesn't count. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know you.
Yeah.
And then James is talking about, what is he? He says multiple about.
Because Sandoval is saying, because Lala says something like, you guys have been fucking or whatever, and Sandoval keeps saying one time, and then James gets so furious. He's like, multiple times, multiple. And then Tom Sandoval does the worst British accent in history ever. Could you imagine if you're on the spot to do a British accent to make fun of someone and you flopped that hard?
multiple.
Yeah.
Multiple.
Yeah, it was so bad.
I laughed though.
You did?
I mean, it was ridiculous.
I
Like,
didn't.
It was like
I laughed.
embarrassing.
I laughed ironically.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't. Sandoval got a couple of funny moments. I think later, like legitimately funny. That was just embarrassing. Like ironically funny for sure.
Totally. And this is where Lala goes into defending herself that she was lied to. She said she was very much like in the open with Randall. He would FaceTime his kids in front of her. They were traveling. So in her world view, it couldn't have been a discreet relationship because they weren't acting discreet.
Yeah.
Which it's probably more that like his wife like had given up at that point.
There was a lot of Lala in part 3 for something that didn't really have much to do with her.
Right.
I mean, no offense to Lala. I'm just saying this now without thinking about it too much. But Sandoval says at one point, like, the person who cares about us the least is the most vocal about
Exactly.
this. And a part of me, I'm not giving him full credit for that. But did we have to hear I would much have rather hear from James and Ariana and Katie more than Lala. Lala took the brunt of the anger.
Katie spoke like 3 times in all 3 parts.
But her reactions, she's like loving everything that everyone else says. And Katie
she's
gets
just
some
kind
good
of smirking.
Yeah, she gets some good moments too. But Lala really took the brunt of like the group's hatred. She was the face of them.
And now she's saying, not only did she say she was very good friends with Randall's ex-wife, but she said she's very close friends with Oliver's ex-wife.
Ex-wives club.
And I'm like, are you just like the bone collector? Like, what is happening? Why are you friends with all these scorned women? Like, and then she reveals like she knew that Oliver wasn't separated,
right?
But didn't tell Raquel.
Sandoval says that. Sandoval's
like, did you want her to look stupid? And she's like, she can look stupid by herself.
Yeah, but I guess Lala knew for a week that this was in a, they weren't fully separated or whatever, and didn't use it until the show.
What she said was, no shit, he wasn't separated, you stupid fuck.
I know.
So intense.
I know, really.
And And then that's when, and Raquel is trying to go through the timeline. She's like, but you were mean to me before all of this happened. Like, you were already harassing me. And then Lala says, when did I harass you, you dumb bitch?
They feel like they can say literally anything to those two.
She says, oh, I have a degree. Don't go to that school if that's the product you get. Fuck.
Yeah. That was great.
She's basically like, you deserve to be dead under this dirt under our feet. Like, you are both. And then, by the end, Ariana is saying, you are nothing.
Yeah.
Like, they're all just like, you aren't even a human being on this earth. You're not worth the matter that you are made of. You are such a piece of shit. You deserve to die.
Yeah, but no one says die.
Right.
It's like, that's the unsaid thing.
But they're like, you are. I'm like, what would happen if they like actually murdered someone? Like, what could be, judging by the reaction, it's pretty bad on the scope of betrayals of human behavior, but I'm trying to think of what are worse acts.
Well, here's one. Well, first of all, they wouldn't have acted as mad if they had killed someone. No, I mean, not even close. Not even close. If Raquel and Tom Sandoval had done a bank robbery and one innocent person got killed, like the bank teller, because Raquel accidentally fired the gun or whatever, they would be less mad at them. But one thing that could have fired them up way more, which I was thinking about this today as I watched it, if Tom Sandoval had been honest about the timeline and come fully clean and admitted that they fucked the night after the jacuzzi when Schwartz went home, and Ariana no longer has to just talk about how she did this in the shadow of Charlotte's death. Yeah. She would say, you fucked in my house when I was mourning the death of my grandmother. Imagine how much more fired up. And you can't imagine. Ariana's already at 11. Yeah. What would she have done if she found it? That's why I was like, could Tom Sandoval have admitted to it? I think he should have come clean and been fully honest and just taken the pure hatred, because it's already the fireball. Oh my God, like the sun, it's melancholia. A planet is crashing into the earth and you have to just burn.
Ariana's hair is like floating.
Oh my God, exactly. You know, it's on fire. She is summoning an asteroid to level Earth, but it would have gotten even worse if he would have admitted it. Right?
He knew it was like a bridge too far.
It like couldn't be said. It almost couldn't be said.
Right. I wonder, when do you think Ariana, I mean, we're jumping ahead because that revelation.
This thing is so nebulous.
Totally.
It's like, we got to just talk about it.
When do you think Ariana found out about that? Like, do you think she watched it, or do you think producers told her after the interview?
I want to believe she found out now. I want to believe she got the pre-release copy that Jackson and James watched, and she just found that out definitively now. I really think, I don't think that they let the cast members see that interview beforehand. Raquel is obviously tucked away in Tucson. We don't know where the hell she is. Right. I think Ariana found that information yesterday or 2 days ago.
I mean, I hope that, like, it was shocking. I thought, I mean, the information itself was shocking, but it was more shocking to watch Raquel cave and admit it. You know what I mean? Because we kind of figured.
I mean, do you want to talk about the bombshell? Because we're there. I mean, like, well, I don't know. Do you want to wait? You tell me. However you want to do it.
I mean, so.
No, it'll be good for the end. Okay. We'll save it. We'll get so fired up. Let's save it for the end.
Okay. So,
but this Lala stuff, like, I know we're like in such a Lala era. Totally. I'm like, why was Lala was so fired up. Like, Lisa was having to calm her down and
right. We can basically skip past, but my favorite part about the entire Oliver conversation is that LVP says he's been an exemplary employee.
And he goes,
all that
he goes, hey, is Oliver still working at Vanderpump Opry? She goes, absolutely he is.
Of course he is. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I love Oliver. Like, she loves Garcelle, which that's so amazing.
I mean,
too.
He was holding it down. He feels like her
and you were waited on by him, right?
Peter.
Yes. Totally. Yeah. But you didn't you get to meet Oliver?
I did meet him. He wasn't serving us because we were sitting at the bar. But when he walked past me, I was like, I do need a photo. Thank you. Had to collect my Pokemon.
Yeah, that's so good. I do one thing before we bypass this Lala stuff. I did like when Andy was like, Andy was to like Lisa, why did you just fully take Oliver's side and not like believe the story or whatever? And she was like,
Yeah.
I love Oliver. He's the best ever. He was like, and his wife and him are estranged. And I
Yeah.
like when Lala goes, she goes, estranged, like in quotes. And it's just so like, she does not believe this Oliver story at all.
It's just kind of like, I don't really give a shit about that
Me neither. I
storyline.
know, me
It's so
neither.
boring.
I
Like,
know.
whatever.
Yeah.
But this is where Lisa says, don't let this turn you into a bitter woman.
Yeah.
Which at first I was afraid that was going to like turn into like a bad moment. Like I was like, are they going to get mad at Lisa?
Yeah. Lala, don't call Lala bitter.
She says, I'm not bitter. I'm aware.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, sure, but it does also seem like from everything she said at this point that she will never trust a man ever again and wants to seed her own child as a single mother. So I'm like, I won't call her bitter, but certainly damaged beyond repair.
Yeah. I mean, but you can see why. I mean,
No, totally.
yeah.
But I wish that she would.
Yeah, admit that that's where she's coming from a little
Right.
bit.
Like,
Yes.
again, like we were saying that Lisa said last week, if Lala would be more vulnerable, I would take her side so much more.
Me too,
But she's
yeah.
so defensive.
Yes.
And just acts like she's always right. And I'm like, just admit it. You were fucking conned. It broke your heart. You're heartbroken about your daughter having to deal with this.
Yes.
Like, you're going to find it very hard to trust again. And you're sad about that. Like, just say that. Like, say that this whole situation triggered you
Yes.
and is making you so upset because of everything you've been through. And you're like, Jesus Christ, are there any good people in this world? Why is everyone a liar?
Yeah.
Like, just say that. Like, she's just such a hard ass that I'm like, don't make me like defend Raquel against you.
I
But like,
know.
she can't defend herself. So I'm like, it's so one-sided.
That's exactly how I felt the entire Raquel performance. I almost
Yeah.
feel like she wasn't allowed on stage very long because Andy's like, I am getting nothing from you. It's like
Yeah.
a brick wall that barely has learned to talk.
Yeah.
She's saying just words that sentences that just people know. I am starting to accept the consequences of my actions. Andy's like, what the hell? That's what we brought you out to say? There's no entertainment value, which ultimately, this is a show.
Yeah.
Raquel is not entertaining in any way. She can't speak for herself. She can't think on her feet.
Yeah.
Those lines that she said were probably rehearsed.
Yeah.
That's the lines that she can get out.
For sure.
So I feel like they were just like, okay, let's wrap this Raquel shit up. She is bringing nothing. Get Sheena back out here.
Totally. Then they bring up the like Schwartz stuff. And
Oh, I love
Schwartz
this.
is like, can I say something? He's like, is that what I look like? Because in my mind, I'm sexy. Casanova undertones. And when I saw that, it turned my life upside down.
A little bit of levity. I was like, okay, I'll take it. I like that little Schwartz moment. I like that he admitted that their kiss was disgusting. And then
Totally.
Katie goes, it was like a father and daughter kissing. Disgusting. And Schwartz goes, come on, Katie. And he
He's like,
laughs.
cool it.
Yeah, cool,
And-
Katie.
And Andy's like, why didn't you respect that boundary that Katie had put in about like not like hooking up with friends? And he's like, maybe it was a technicality because technically they weren't friends at the time. And he's like, oh, I'm just kidding.
And then he goes, yeah. And then he
Katie's
goes,
like, I'll fucking kill you.
yeah, seriously. And then he goes, oh, no. There was a little bit of chemistry there. Like, you
Yeah.
have to admit there was a spark of chemistry or whatever. He has since admitted, I just listened on the Jackson Brittany thing. He said him and Raquel had absolutely no chemistry ever.
Wow.
So then he tries to blame it on that. And then Katie says a very iconic line.
Yeah.
You say it.
She's a cunt and you're a drunk.
She said it doesn't get, it's just that simple.
Yeah.
That's, Katie, you brought it. That was amazing. Katie got so sidelined in this reunion because it doesn't get to be about the Raquel and Schwartz thing because the magnitude of what happened, apart from that is so much greater. But I'm glad Katie got that beautiful line off and, she got to shine a little bit.
Right. And Raquel admits, true or not, that Schwartz was someone I was curious to make out with since the beginning.
Curious to make out with since the beginning.
Doesn't make sense.
After she had slept with Sandoval at that point.
Right. And then Ariana says, she said that she had closed the door on Schwartz, and Ariana says, closed the door on Schwartz and opened it to my fucking boyfriend, you fucking cunt.
Oh, yeah. Ariana just like, wow, she was so fired up.
Yeah.
They also, Andy, one of the most heart-wrenching scenes for me this season was Terry openly talking to Raquel about how hurt it makes Katie to see Schwartz,
Yeah.
kissing other people, and she's still not over or whatever. And Andy brings that up. He's like, I was kind of baffled that you continued your Schwartz journey after that Terry talk. And
Yeah.
that's when she says, well, I did close the door then, and then it was Schwartz who instigated that makeout in
Right.
Cancun. It's like, that's not what I saw.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, James says that corner of the room is incesty, dirty, and weird, which is true.
But yeah.
But he's not safe because they are about to role play on James, his history of cheating montage, which I'm sure he was not too pleased about. And they included the Logan rumor, which they didn't really get into, but I love that they threw that one in there too. Just
Yeah, that's a part of his
piss him
cheating.
off.
Yeah, that's a part of his cheating
And then
montage.
Allie is in the trailer with Sheena and Brock, and it's like what are they talking about? And Sheena's like, there was a lot of cheating allegations or whatever back in the day. And Allie's like, but not recently.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, no, like a really long time ago.
Allie in the trailer thought she legitimately just watched that James was being outed for like affairs that were happening right
Yeah.
now in their relationship.
Yeah, she was like, please clarify, please confirm.
Yeah.
And then Raquel's like voice is shaking.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's trying to yet again stick up for herself by bringing up that Lala and James had an inappropriate relationship while she was with Raquel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was this part or another where she was like, you never had any respect for me at that time. And Lala's like, and I still don't.
I know.
She said that she thinks that she never liked her because Lala liked getting attention from James, and then he had a girlfriend who she was against from the start, which honestly is valid,
Oh, okay.
I think. But Lala says she is truly insane.
Yeah. She
And
says,
then she says, my love, I think you need to get mentally evaluated. You're truly insane. And then Raquel's like, don't worry, I am getting mentally evaluated. As if that's like a comeback. Don't you worry.
that process has started. I am being mentally evaluated now, and I will be for the next 3 months. Don't worry, Lala.
Don't worry, I'm being taken away in an ambulance.
Don't worry, they're checking me out. I've started the process on mental evaluation.
Medical professionals are very concerned. Don't worry.
Like the ultimate comeback. Yes, I have started what you just said.
So
I'm hearing from my little birdies, our little turtle cuties, that Raquel might be out in the wild again.
Really?
She might be out of the facility.
Oh, wow.
Mentally evaluated, they said, you are good to
Okay.
be free upon this world.
I'm scared.
Me too. Raquel, don't come back to LA for at least a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
like a year.
We can't see you at that nail salon and have a TMZ
No.
interview right now. You would get the world fired up. It's too early.
Yeah.
Raquel,
Fresh
stay
off of the reunion.
stay in Tucson for at least a month.
Yeah.
But I'm do you think the mental evaluation was just like A+?
Well, I hope they came up with something that they can work with and help her, because there's
Yeah.
something going on.
So I'm going to disagree with you a little bit, just because I think Raquel had that theory about the James attention or whatever. Lala was actually pretty dismissive of James's attention when he was blasting her with it with Raquel, especially in that Big Bear trip.
That
Well,
Big Bear trip is insane.
It's one of my favorite moments in history.
Isn't that when she goes like, so are we friends anymore or not? And he goes, nah.
Yeah. James is on 12 out of 10. No one else is partying like him, and he's the drunkest he's ever been, just causing pure chaos in Rob's Big
Yeah.
Bear cabin. We should
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
that Big Bear cabin. I want to go outside of it.
Yeah.
That's also Jax's almost drowning.
Yes.
Happens there. I forget
Yeah.
what else. They go on a boat. That was really
Yeah.
fun.
But
It's-
him and Lala, per the clip that they showed, were being actively inappropriate on that trip. Like, for any normal girlfriend,
Yeah.
you would be like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is going on
under the
here?
blankets giggling.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I know, but
She did not treat Raquel well historically.
Oh, you're right.
Bambi
Okay.
eyed bitch.
I withdraw
Bambi-eyed
my
bitch.
Okay.
I mean, you're allowed to have your opinion. I just think any normal girlfriend who had, like, if she did that in front of Allie would be like, excuse me,
Yeah,
what the fuck is this?
Maybe I'm just misremembering and I didn't watch those clips well enough, but I did think Lala was like, hey, James, chill on me for a second. Like, please. Like, can you stop doing me? But there was the giggling under the blankets.
Yeah, and
so
they
I
like
don't
shower together in bathing suits. Like, what? Anyways.
Yeah, you're probably okay. You're right. So Raquel gets one off. She says it very slow in labor,
And they literally fucked.
Yeah. True. You're right. You're right.
Which should be such a smoking gun. Like
Yeah.
for any like adept like debater.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
The fact that she literally had
Yes.
sex with her
And
while she knew they were together. Like if Lala had that ammunition in reverse, it would be insane.
You're right. You're right. A part of my reservation about that is because Raquel just fumbles even the little moments she can get a win.
No,
She can't get a win off because she can't say anything. She
Right.
can't articulate herself
Yeah.
at all.
Her last chance before all of this was in Havasu, where she tries to bring it up and it just goes so wrong.
Yeah.
And now it's too late.
Mhm.
You just can't talk anymore. But
Yep.
James gets all pissed off. He's like, why do we have to keep talking about 5 seasons ago when we have so much to talk about now? Can we drop it? He's like, I'm just that entertaining, right? And Lisa's like, not really. No, stop it. Zip it. And he goes, but I am.
Yeah. He says, "Yes, I am, Lisa. I'm going to keep being entertaining." He also, Andy, did I forget this? But Andy says, will you now confirm that you cheated on Raquel multiple times with Hope and whatever? He goes,
Yeah.
not going to do it. No.
No.
He's
He's like,
not.
I've said
admitting-
my piece on that.
Like that Hope thing didn't happen,
All
or
that
when
shit happened.
or when the person brought him the clothes to a
With-
show.
In front of Raquel, just like, here's your underwear back.
Yeah. Do you wish he would have? I know he can't in this
Yeah.
reunion because then it would change the dynamic completely. But
I mean, if anything, I'm hoping that it gets saved for later
yeah,
and we can revisit, because as we've learned, the truth is always revealed. If you think it happened, it did.
Yes.
If there's evidence that points in a certain direction, it's true.
and yeah.
Like, Miami Girl is now, all bets are off.
I
Like,
know.
any denial that you have
You're
about
right.
a situation now is to be believed,
You're right.
because it's always true.
That means Kristen had sex with her trainer.
Yeah. I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure she would admit that.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah.
They go over the Archella joke. He gets all fired up and is like, how dare you make fun of my career, blah, blah, blah. And Andy, yet again, interjecting, says about Schwartz, he's already apologized 85,000 times. You should apologize for throwing a drink in his face.
I don't agree with Andy there.
You love that drink throw, right?
Yes. But I like what Schwartz said. He goes, I didn't mind the beer pour. It was a little over the top, I'll admit. But I really didn't like when you started ripping into my life. And then they show that iconic torrent of insults. Poop Hole Village,
Poop Hole Village,
Rockin'
your
Riley's.
shite hole bar. I wrote down, do you think Katie still loves her engagement? Or do you think it's like soured?
James
in
like put a
retrospect?
little negative light on it.
Like, do you think when she watches it, she's like, actually, that was really sweet? Like, I like the way he did it, because my friend is watching from the beginning right now for the first time, and she just got to their engagement, and she said that she cried.
Oh, wait, I know. I loved that engagement when I saw it, because Schwartz
The
never
fake
does
out.
anything romantic,
Yeah.
So it was so sweet. I thought that was a beautiful engagement, but then I didn't know it was Rockin' Riley's,
Right.
and obviously with James's in comparison, it looks lame, but no, I loved that
Is
engagement.
that place still there?
Rockin' Riley's? I don't know.
You're rockin' Riley.
I know, that's what they call me. Isn't that awesome?
We should go.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
down.
One thing I just wanted to say before we get out of this James moment, or
Yeah.
we're probably still in James, but James really got to go or come out of this unscathed, despite a lot of huge attacks on his character.
Yeah.
Multiple cheating on Raquel, the admission that Lala and him cheated. That was this season.
Yeah.
He gets to come away unscathed.
Yeah.
The slapping ass and jumping from the rafters
Never
of
to be
Atlantic
mentioned
City.
again.
Seriously, if this would have been another season, James would be in the doghouse
Totally.
barking,
Yeah.
right? He'd be barking with the other dogs but he just got so lucky that this
Yeah.
season just was overshadowed by Scandival completely.
Totally.
James, I mean, I want to go to your first house warming party.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm going to jump in your pool and do a cannonball, and if you'll let me do a beer bong, that would be so fun. But you were a little stinker this season, and you got lucky, my man.
Totally. I'm just looking ahead at how many pages of notes I have left.
What, should
and
we
I do
rip
need
it?
to call a a certified turtle piss.
You do? Okay. Hold on, everybody. Let's all and now we want our audience to take a piss as well. So you guys all
Join us.
take a piss. We're gonna piss together. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, go take one. Well,
We're back.
well, that felt good, right?
Yeah, I just needed to make sure that I wasn't wiggling in my seat so that if we need to go over 3 hours, we can.
Oh, do you think that's possible? 45 more minutes?
Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. What do we have here? Okay. The next thing I have is that a lighthearted moment, which I think was an addition. In the Pumped Up, Allie says that she just discovered that Sheena was the Jonas Brothers pizza girl.
Oh, yeah.
And that she freaked out and watched it like 3 times because she's so young that she probably was like 8 when that came out.
Yeah. That was so fun. And Brock and Sheena are loving it. Sheena is so happy. It's so sweet and fun. That trailer looked like a vibe.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in there.
Totally.
Drinking White Claws, talking to Brock and Allie and
I
Sheena.
know. Don't you think that you're like, actually, she's so lucky that she got to just go
Yes.
chill?
Take a White Claw break, laugh with Allie and Brock,
Yeah.
just have a little bit of fun, and watch the reunion. Watch Raquel get decimated in front of everyone.
Seriously,
Yeah.
like, you just get to relax.
Yeah.
After, because how long of a day do you think it was? 12 hours?
I think we know the timeline because like it was like TMZ was like reporting, but yeah, it was like, I think it was less than 12 hours, like a 10-hour day. I remember being really surprised that they were done. Oh yeah. And yeah, I don't want to say how
Well, they
else
were
I know.
leaving in daylight.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was like
before
it was like a
dark.
10-hour day, I think.
Yeah. So then we kind of already talked about the Abbey. James does an impression of Sandoval dancing, which was actually pretty funny.
Yeah, I was like, good job, James. You came back a little bit. That is a good thing you did. Doing, recreating Sandoval's classic dance.
Yeah.
What kind of dance is that? Like a lumbering, swinging arms
It's like,
kind of dance?
yeah, what do you call it? Like a pop and lock. He does like
Yes.
the pop and lock.
Do you remember when he got all excited about doing boy band dances with Lance Bass at
Oh, yeah. And Lance was
Jax's-
like, please kill me. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, it was just basically Sandoval dancing in front of him for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this is when they're talking about how he wasn't nervous at the Abbey or whatever because they weren't fucking at that time,
But
which
they
is a
did-
lie.
And they did kiss.
Yes. And he's trying to justify it and like get off scot-free. And Lisa finally is like, I feel like this episode, Lisa actually came correct and
Yes.
was on the right side of history.
Yes,
and
she
that
did.
we can all let her back in because she, with clarity, once Raquel was in the mix, she could really break this apart and say how fucked up everything was.
She evolved over the day.
Yeah. And she said, because he's like, Sandoval tries to bring up that like he has friends, like he's friends with people that he's fucked and that he can just be friends because everyone was saying, you've changed the dynamic once you've had sex with Raquel. So you guys hanging out is inappropriate, whether or not you're fucking at that very time. Lisa says, you had a clandestine pact.
It's true. It was clandestine. When you think about Ariana and Sandoval, it was clandestine.
Yeah.
The pact that they
Yes.
had. Yes. So Lisa, yeah, she's right about that.
And then Schwartz sheds some interesting light. He says,
Yes.
if I may interject, I think I know where the rumor about the open relationship came from. And he says there used to be a rumor going around the valley that you guys, meaning Ariana and Sandoval, had a threesome with Billy Lee.
And then they show like this. They show this funny scene where it's, well, first of all, Andy's eyes, like, where he like completely perks up at the mention of Billy Lee. Like
Yeah.
she's been brought up multiple times, I feel like, on this reunion. And then they show this clip where Sandoval kisses Billy Lee on the cheek, and then it pans, and Ariana is watching them with a sort of a curious expression.
Yeah,
I
she
guess.
looks mad.
Yeah.
And then obviously Lala and Ariana hooked up in the back of Sandoval's car, so that kind of fed that rumor.
Right.
And Ariana's like, we've never had a threesome in our entire relationship, which I believe.
I believe too, and it was like it was nice for that to be definitively stated. Like I never knew, and I the potential of that, I was like, that could have happened, but
Right.
it's interesting to know that just never happened. That wasn't a part of their relationship at all.
Totally. So this reunion was 3 weeks after the news broke, and Andy was like,
Where the hell have you been this whole time,
Yeah.
Raquel?
Yeah. Also, he says, have you guys hung out in the past 3 weeks? And Sandoval's like, yeah, we've hung out.
Yeah.
And Ariana's like, I'm going to cut your head off.
Yeah. How do you want to be killed?
Yeah. She needs some alliteration from Stassi. Like, what would Stassi be saying? She'd be like, I'm going to fly to the Tower of London and get a guillotine and put your fingers and cut them each off and then shove them down your throat.
Exactly. Wait, Stassi would not have held back at all about killing them and about how they should die.
Yeah.
No one will go to the lengths like Stassi about saying how she would kill them.
Yeah, she'd be like, I'm going to go buy the proper rubber bucket like
Yes.
on Breaking Bad and dissolve you in acid.
Exactly. Yes. And then bury you in the desert with ants, swarming all around
Yeah,
your...
but I'll keep your head and put it on a tortuga.
Yes.
Tortuga time.
Oh,
Anyways.
good. Wait, no, you're exactly right. If Stassi was still a cast member, Andy would have let her have 1 minute where she just says how she would kill them both.
Yeah.
She would have totally said she would kill them.
Totally. Yeah, she'd be like, I'm going to use a Michael Myers knife and stab you 30 different times and then play tic-tac-toe with your organs.
You are so good at these killing metaphors. I can't think of one. I'm thinking like I'd punch you so bad in the mouth that it would cause you to bleed, and then I'd stab you. You're much better at the killing.
Maybe me and Stassi should be friends.
Well, I want to be friends too. If you get that first friendship, can you start to slowly integrate me into your friendship?
Yeah, I'll get you in with Bo, and then we
Oh.
can all hang out.
That would be so sweet.
So then Raquel's talking about how she felt seen and heard by Sandoval. She confided personal things to him that she hadn't said to anyone else. Ariana gets fucking fired up. She's like, I guess you couldn't confide in me because like I thought that I was a really good friend to
Yeah.
you and etc. And then the closed caption for Raquel said, blows raspberry.
Yeah.
She goes,
She blew the biggest raspberry in the history of television. It's a huge one.
yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, she has to exhale. There's nothing more to say. Ariana goes on to say, my dog just fucking died. I cried in your fucking arms and you thought I should fuck her boyfriend. You are lower than the fucking lowest of low people,
Yes.
which I say makes her a chud.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping, I was like, are you guys, someone's going to call him a chud, right? A cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller.
Absolutely.
But they didn't, for some reason, is chud not on their radar? I mean, they
Yeah,
are too.
It would be like, you fucking chud fuck bitch fucking chud whore.
Chud would have hit so hard if one of them
If
said
James said it, it would be really funny.
it. How-
Fucking chud.
Chud. You two are chuds.
Chud with a mustache.
Chud with a mustache. He would have. Oh my God! If he would have gone from worm to chud, what if they would have said chud? I feel like you and
Andy
I
would be like, what? Lisa would be like, chud.
a cannibalistic humanoid underground.
She's
dweller.
pretending she doesn't know
Yeah,
about the
but she's-
chuds.
Lisa, you know there are.
She has the key in her pocket to the chud
We
tunnel.
said we would never say chuds on this reunion. You know all about chuds, Lisa. You got chud tunnels
Ken's
running
like,
from.
I can't believe.
James would ever mention chuds on the reunion. I wish they would have dropped a chud. You and I feel like we would have to take a 2-week vacation in Cancun and just because it's. Anyway. So she didn't say chud.
No.
She said dementor.
Yeah.
So
this
she went
is
for.
right here, yeah.
I'll say she went for a more known villainous. Not a chud would have been. It's like we would all be looking up
Insider
chud.
info, yeah.
Yeah.
She says, you're a fucking psychopath.
Yes.
A terrifying person to
Yep.
me.
Yep.
You are a dementor. And then she goes, I know you like Harry Potter.
Yes, and it said on the subtitles, it said nasally mocking voice.
Yeah.
So you know.
She's like, I know that you're a child. I'll put it in your terms.
So did you think she thought she was going to call her Dementor, right? And then knew she'd have that Harry Potter
Reference available. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because she didn't. So that's an ironic mention of Dementor. It's
Yeah.
just to put it into perspective for Raquel.
Right.
Do you think Raquel was like, oh, like that's the one that hit her so hard?
Yeah, she's like, I get it now.
Yeah, I just sent you while we were taking our huge pisses. Someone already did a beautiful mock-up of Raquel as a Dementor.
Yeah, she looked because when Ariana did that voice of like, I know you like Harry Potter, she kind of gave like a confused
Yeah.
look.
Yeah.
Like she was like,
She's like-
okay.
She's like, I don't read that book.
Yeah, that's a lot of pages.
You think
How many
she's-
are there? 7?
You think she's getting through Half-Blood Prince? 700 pages? Maybe audiobook. Right?
Seriously. I know that's right.
Oh, and then is this? Oh.
This is the best.
Oh, go for it. You do it.
She goes, I hope Charlotte fucking haunts you.
Oh my God. Oh my God. The power of that. Someone in our live chat said, Ariana delivers the line of the season tonight. And I knew instantly when she said that was what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Like, God damn.
Yeah. At first, I was like, let Charlotte rest in peace. She doesn't need to be dealing with these hoes out in these streets. But then I thought about it more, and then I thought it was really funny. And I like to imagine my dead cat, Penny, haunting my enemies. And if you, the listeners don't know Penny, but the people that do know Penny, she had a very dead look in her eye that only her mother could love. And so if she did haunt my enemies, it would be so scary because she looked so demented that it would bring me so much joy to watch that happen. So actually, I'm back on board.
Yes. Yeah, I was like, okay. Yeah, I was confused by it because I didn't know if that is how Charlotte's energy should be used or whatever. But Charlotte would love to bark at someone that Ariana hated. Dogs
Yeah.
love protecting their owner.
Loyalty
And also,
beyond the
who
grave.
knows how Charlotte could divide her time? She could still
That's
have
true.
fun, beautiful moments with all of the dogs and cats in heaven.
Yeah, there's like, we don't know what the space time is in the afterlife. Like she could do both at once.
Who knows? Yeah, she could have a day of haunting and a day of pure bliss with
Yeah.
all the other beautiful dogs.
I know your beautiful dogs are still very much Earth side, but would you let George haunt people for you?
I would be so jealous. I don't want to cry. I would want all of his time as a ghost to be spent with me.
Uh-huh.
But every once in a while, one day, maybe once a year, he could go do a full-blown meltdown on all of my haters, bark at them. Oh, he would bite. They'd be getting bit.
He'd
They wouldn't.
become a junkyard dog.
Total junkyard dog energy. George loves to hate my enemies. He would fight for me to, forever. So if he spent his time like that, he's Earthside, like you said.
Yes.
He's still Earthside, but he could have a little bit of energy dedicated to destroying my haters
Yes.
psychologically.
I love that.
I loved it. I mean, Ariana's so, she's so smart. Her and Lala and James, I'd say by far are the smartest on the cast or whatever. They are just so cunning and
Yeah.
good with words. They're annihilating the other side. Schwartz is smart too,
Yeah.
but he's fumbling and bumbling and sweating, and his
And
energy
he's
is zapped.
nervous. Yeah.
They're no match for them. Sandoval and Raquel just cannot fucking bring it.
No way. Yeah. She says, you're a soul-sucking individual, to which Rachel... Oh my gosh, I just randomly...
I can't believe you
keep
switched.
switching
You switched.
in.
It was like Ariana's justification for why she's called
Yeah.
Rachel, like switched in your brain. I have
Yeah.
never even thought about calling her
I
Rachel.
know. It's
Yeah.
happened 2 times.
Yeah.
She agreed. She's like, you're right.
Yeah.
I am a soul-sucking individual.
Yep.
Then Andy asks, are you in love?
And
Rachel
yeah,
says yes.
Rachel goes first. So this is like, I know they asked before, they knew this question was coming. They said beforehand, we are going to
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah.
She goes
And
first.
She says yes, and Ariana goes, ugly, hideous, rotten, like a moldy piece of fruit, rotten.
The imagery and the craftiness of the things Ariana is saying are just coming from everywhere. Fruit metaphors, ghost dogs, to Harry Potter references, everything in the world. A classic See You Next Tuesday every once in a while. It's like,
Absolutely.
damn, she pulled everything in
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Moldy fruit, right?
Yeah,
Rotten.
rotten. Tom, same question. Are you in love? He goes, I'm sorry. Yes.
I'm sorry. Yes.
And Ariana goes, Grody.
She also she goes, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to laugh at him answering this question. She's like, it's hilarious and what did she say? Delusional?
Yeah, this is delusional.
Delusional and hilarious. And it's true. I felt the same energy because him having to profess his love for Raquel in this environment, the most haunted, horrible, hate-filled room.
Yeah.
It's like talking about love, and especially their love.
Yeah.
Just it has no place in this
No.
world.
It's weird that that's one of the things they agreed to admit.
I know.
Like, why couldn't they just be like, too soon to tell?
Well, yeah. Raquel says
Check back another day.
it's the magic 8
Yeah.
ball. Cannot confirm or deny. I think that they thought that would make them more redeemable for some reason, but
They play their cards every
They're-
hand wrong.
every hand was wrong. I mean,
Lala supports Ariana by saying,
yes,
they
I love
got
this.
you out of a torture chamber. Thank God they did you a favor.
She goes, I'll be honest. Life with Sandoval would be fucking torture. She goes, put a bullet in my brain. Lala, that was amazing.
She goes, I can't imagine being with you, Sandoval. Put a bullet in my brain. And I did just have to quickly say she did sire a child with Randall Emmett. So not much of a leg to stand on regarding her taste.
Yes, true.
But yes.
True. But if that came out of someone else's mouth, that is the perfect thing to say. I just love that Lala is like, be grateful this happened.
Yeah.
You not only got Sandoval, this evil person, out of your life, but you got two of the most horrendous people in one. A 2-for-1 out of your life.
Totally.
It's true.
A twofer.
Ariana should totally feel good that this actually did happen. They're out. Ariana's living her best life. So I
Yeah.
thought that was a powerful Lala moment. I love that.
Yeah.
and
And this is when Ariana continues to try and burn them to dust. She says, you are nothing. She's like, you have no thoughts of your own, but like, she's basically like, here is what you should think.
Yes. Yes, like a mantra.
You are dead to everybody
Yes.
now.
Yes.
It's so intense.
You are nothing. And then Raquel, right? Raquel has to step out
She
for a
leaves.
second. That those words enter her brain, and now she can only think those thoughts that Ariana placed on her.
Yeah.
And she goes, "I got to go get a drink of water."
Yeah, she goes, gets a water. They had it ready right away with a straw,
Yeah.
which was nice.
That was really nice. I'm glad she got some water.
Yeah. And then Sandoval then is going on about the definition of what makes a mistress. He's like, that means that it's like an ongoing relationship. And then Lisa's like, it's semantics. And he's like, it's not semantics.
He also poses it like it's a just asking for clarification, like it's not a defense of himself. He's going, wouldn't you classify hypothetically a mistress as an ongoing thing as opposed to what we have, which is a one time and then a month later an affair starts?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is he talking about?
It makes no sense.
Lisa says, you're splitting hairs here, my man. This
Yeah.
this is not doing you any good.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
So dumb. And then the jacuzzi night is brought up, which, right?
Yep. We're talking about the whole dipped out thing. I do love that in retrospect, Lisa would not let him wiggle his way out of that. She's like, did she stay? Yes or no?
Yeah, that was great. Lisa actually got to the bottom of that, would not let him wiggle out.
Yeah. And they say, like, did you guys have sex that night? He says, absolutely not, which we know is a lie.
Full lie.
Yep.
Full blown lie. Schwartz is advocating again for some reason. I don't know what the hell. He's like, there wasn't any weird sex in the jacuzzi.
Right.
He was like, it wasn't a hanky-panky vibe in there. But they confirmed that he went home that night and
'cause he
had
had
to
the
take care of the
dogs.
dogs. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
Katie said, you had the dogs that night, so you had to go home. And I'm like, I can see Schwartz getting home at like 6 a.m.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's just poop and pee all over the house. He's like, okay, I'm
Totally.
cleaning this up. Yeah, I didn't
So
think
that's not a confirmation. So do you think that Schwartz left before there was hanky-panky, or do you think this was one of his major lies?
I don't. This is like I could be just charmed, and people could be so mad at me. I think Schwartz is ready to be in his truthful era now, and he doesn't want to be bogged down by Sandoval. So I do think he left, but participated in the lie. So that is awful. He admits to participating in the lie, saying that he stayed over. I think he left or whatever, or even if he's passed out on the couch. But I sort of take his word for it that there wasn't sexual stuff going on while he was witnessing it.
Right.
I hope. I mean,
Totally.
that'd be so bad.
Yeah. they talk about Sandoval says that he was disappointed that some of his friends, instead of texting him, posted memes instead.
I know. He was like, come on, guys. Can I get anything in this thing?
And they're all like, fuck you, shut up, bitch.
Ariana goes, what the hell did you expect? Who would text you after this?
Yeah.
What did you expect from people? I mean, Billy Lee texted him.
You know that. And who's the jewelry guy?
Yeah.
Kyle Chan.
Kyle Chan texted you.
He wants him to buy some rings. That's what he wants.
Schwartz texted you.
He's like, why don't you propose to Raquel? Need a ring? I have a nice $25,000 ring.
And you would get it for $5,000.
Yeah. Can you believe $25,000?
Yeah. Who says that? the
the sunglasses.
of course. What's her name? Dana?
Dana Wilkie.
Oh man.
And then Schwartz puts on his Andy hat and is
Why did they wait? Hold on. I know. Why did they let him? Why did he want to interject this?
It's really weird.
It lands like a thud.
But then Ariana wants to answer it. So he goes, what was it like for during the worst time of your life for the entire nation to be behind you and rooting for you? And James is like, cool story, bro. What? And Katie's like, why? What's wrong with you? And James is like, what the fuck? And then Ariana goes, to answer the question, and she's getting emotional.
Yes.
And she says, it's what kept me going.
Yeah. So she turns his sort of like he was trying to have this like I don't know, like, isn't it wild that you were personally hurt by us, but then the world rallied around you or something. And then she just turned it into this like powerful, beautiful moment about how sad she was, and she starts to cry. And then you look at Schwartz's face, and he's like so bummed that he brought it up. He looks devastated.
It like
that
didn't
he said,
go the way that he wanted.
No.
Yeah, she says that there was like a week and a half where she didn't eat.
Yeah.
She lost 8 pounds. She needed someone to stay over every night because she felt like she needed babysitting. Fucking finally, Sandoval is weeping.
Yes.
Which, again, I'm like, this would have gone a lot better for you if you would have had that emotion up top.
I
but
know.
he's been so defensive the whole time that he's just being an asshole. He's sobbing. His head is fully down. He's like breaking down.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say, I don't care who gets mad at me. He's legitimately crying here. The times that he's legitimately crying, he's not a good enough actor to pull off.
No, he's like cowering.
Yes,
like, it's like
these
real.
are real tears, and when Raquel cries later, they're real tears. I'm sorry to dismantle the sociopath myth or whatever.
No,
he is breaking down. He's finally having the reaction that he should have had the entire time, breaking down fully. And this is when Ariana says, "I can't think of two worse people."
Right.
She says,
They've used that clip a lot.
She says, "This is gross.
Yeah.
It's an abomination, right?
Abort it.
Abort it." It's like they had a devil baby that needs to be aborted.
Yeah, Rosemary's Baby.
Their love is Rosemary's Baby.
Yes.
Their love is a satanic baby that needs to be aborted.
Totally. Their baby looks like the Eraserhead baby.
Wait, is Eraserhead? I'm thinking Pinhead. Oh, I know the Eraserhead baby. Oh yeah.
That's what their love looks like.
Oh man.
Even though I kind of love the Eraserhead baby.
Abort it.
Abort it. It's an abomination. She said, like when she's crying and saying, "I can't think of two worse people," she goes like, "What did I do to deserve this?" And Tom and Raquel are like, "You don't deserve it." And she's like, "Don't fucking tell me I don't deserve it. You're still fucking doing it, you fucking disgusting fucks."
Yeah, she can't believe that it's actually still ongoing. I mean, even though she can believe it, but
yeah. And then out of nowhere, James is like, Raquel, when you say that Allie is a replacement, you watch your mouth because she's an upgrade.
Okay, it's like, okay, James, okay, that was great.
Whatever. And then they get into Sandoval dressing as Raquel for Halloween. This is the first LVP is hearing of this. She goes, "Wait a minute. You dressed as her for Halloween after you had already slept together? That is macabre. It's bizarre."
You know Lisa loves to get a macabre off. Isn't this the second time she said macabre?
Yes. She said that him pushing Schwartz on Raquel after they had already slept together was macabre.
So we don't say macabre? Macabre?
Well...
Macabre.
Macabre, joie de vivre.
I think macabre.
I say macabre, but...
Macabre. Bizarre. She is stunned by the Halloween costume thing. Stunned.
Absolutely. They then talk about the lightning bolt necklace. That's another thing that Raquel said was cringe, because Lisa goes, why would you do that on camera? It was so provocative. You're acting out some sort of a weird charade. I love her language.
I know. She was popping off. This had a lot of good Lisa sayings.
Totally.
For sure.
She was so befuddled by this
really
shit.
was.
She Raquel said that necklace was significant to who Sandoval became in her life.
Okay, so I was always so dismissive of this stupid lightning bolt theory, but there's some truth to it. She bought it because she wanted to have this symbol for Sandoval. I thought that was too convenient to even be true, and it's real.
Yeah. Lisa says it was one of the most mind-boggling, gobsmacking, astounding pieces of film she's ever seen.
And she meant the lightning bolt shopping, or did she mean the conversation with Ariana about the intimacy? Because I don't think she could mean the lightning bolt shopping, right?
Did they come back to that?
I think they might have said.
Yeah.
I was confused as to which was
Yeah.
the groundbreaking piece of cinema, gobsmacking piece of cinema.
Yeah, I feel like that is true about the sex convo more than the lightning bolt.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to put a pin in that one. I don't know if she was actually referring to the necklace shopping with that.
Right.
I hope not, because
Yeah, that
the
would
intimacy
be
question.
whack,
Yeah.
Sandoval is kind of like bullshitting, like, we tried to rectify this and pretend it didn't happen. We didn't want to hurt anybody, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Andy asks Ariana about her eggs. They're frozen, not fertilized, luckily. Ariana says, I don't want that DNA with mine. And then Lisa goes, save them.
Save them. Save those eggs.
She's so pro baby.
Yeah. Save those eggs.
Which we don't really talk Kardashians on this, but on the new episode of Kardashians, Kourtney says that her eggs didn't survive the thaw.
No.
Did you know that's something we need to be worried about out in these streets?
No.
You can freeze your eggs and think you're good to
Well, they
go,
still don't make
and then
it.
you thaw them and they don't make it through.
Oh, I had no idea.
So Ariana, think about that. But
But-
she got so many eggs that she'll be fine.
She got like
Like
a
25
lot.
eggs or something. And also, I don't think she wants kids. Anyways.
Yeah. Good thing though that like, what if like the guy was just about to inject
Oh my God.
Tom's sperm?
Yeah, they're all
into them?
swimming around in there.
They were like, they got through half of the eggs with his. They had the little hypodermic needle, and
He
they
was
were.
gonna poke it through a sheet.
What are you talking
like
about?
our
Oh, right. So they can't
vitamin
see it actually
D.
happen, just like our B12 shots.
Yeah.
And then they got to the last one, and Ariana was like, "Stop the fertilization." Do you think that happened?
Yeah, Andy called.
Stop it! Oh my God.
Aborted.
Yeah. Abort
They
it!
actually had just fertilized one egg, so there's one chance for a Sandoval Maddox
and someone
floater.
and someone stole it to create that baby.
It's like a Mission Impossible. They have to
because they have to
go
see.
on a mission to find this little test tube baby before it's too late.
And what would be their rationale for wanting to see this baby be born?
Diabolical.
Evil, demented, subhuman. Only two total weirdos would ever want that.
You like see me. I have like a test tube and I like move it behind.
Do not watch the YouTube. Let's cut that scene out.
Okay, this is the most fucked up part of the whole
Yes,
thing.
go for it.
It's so fucked. I literally almost cried because I was so upset. I was like, I try and give a little bit of benefit of the doubt
I know.
when I can.
I know. You're good about it. And I am too. I try to.
And all of the cards are off the table. Fuck Sandoval. I'm so sick. Andy says, have you slept with anyone since you first slept with Raquel? He says, no. Then Ariana goes, you know who he has slept with since he slept with Raquel? Me.
Right.
Which is so fucked up.
Yep.
Then he goes, yeah, she left her t-shirt on. It was really hot. They show Andy's face. He's like, he's like, oh my fucking God. Like, it looks like he saw a car crash. He's like, no.
Yes, exactly.
Like, he's like, not that. And then Lala goes, you're such a fucking dick, you asshole. And Lisa's like, low blow.
It's like quiet after that. They're stunned. They're stunned that he said that. Why? Why?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Did he wanted to get a dig in? He wanted to negate the fact that they had sex post Raquel by saying that it wasn't sexually satisfying to him.
That is honestly somehow to me like a worse betrayal than anything, because that is so like outside of the bounds of like any respect. Like, that's so fucking rude, first of all. Like,
Right.
It's rude to say that. Second of all, it's like, keep my fucking private shit out of your mouth.
That I wore a t-shirt when we
like, go
had sex.
fuck yourself.
Yeah, for real.
And it's like, cool, thanks. Like, hit me while I'm down. This whole conversation is about how you like have been secretly fucking someone else this whole time.
Yes.
And then you go like, well, like, you weren't trying to be hot also.
Right. And it wasn't even like a defense. It was just like a low blow he wanted to throw out there because it doesn't add anything to his case, really.
No, it makes him look terrible.
Yeah, awful.
Like, so bad.
So he only wants to have fully naked sex?
I guess so. On mushrooms while hang gliding.
There can't be any clothing for it not to be the hottest sex?
I guess so. That was absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
Sheena wanted to throw her White Claw at the TV.
I mean, everyone at
trailer.
Junkyard Dog booed. It was
Yeah.
silent on the actual, in the room
Schwartz
while they were
has
watching.
his head in his hands.
Schwartz gave up. He was like, "Oh man, it can't get worse than this. Why would you ever say that?" I think Sandoval goes, "Sorry, man," and then yeah, Schwartz is like just dead. Like the
Yeah.
battery just got taken out of his back. He's just on the floor looking down. He's like, "What the hell side am I on right now?"
Yeah.
He had to sit between these two people.
Totally.
Awful.
And like the entire reunion, Schwartz's like foot is like tapping. Like
Yeah.
he's so nervous. And
Do you-
so
Do you think that Zanny kicked in?
hopefully, I mean, I would have needed one too, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And then we get to the Raquel Rachel conversation where
Uh-huh.
this was interesting. I thought she said she changed it in first grade, which that's validating that she wasn't like some psychopath that changed it. You think it's a lie?
No. But I was wondering, she goes, my family still calls me Rachel, but all my friends call me Raquel. But usually if you would have changed your name in first grade and all your friends are calling you that, I feel like your family would start to adapt to it.
Right.
One name would start to override, and you wouldn't just have two distinct names with two different people. I mean, I guess,
Yeah.
maybe.
It is weird.
Yeah, but...
But I was like, wow, I didn't know it was that old of
yeah,
a...
yeah, it's definitely better than she just like got to Hollywood and wanted a
Right.
pseudonym or whatever.
Right. And then she goes, calling someone outside of their name that they prefer is like a show of disrespect. Lala would know. And she goes, Lala's a nickname, you moron. And then she's like, Raquel is a nickname. And I'm like, it is, Lala makes more sense as a nickname because it's like a true nickname, not an alternate name. Like it's
Yes.
like JoJo or like
Yes.
KJ
Yes.
or like
Yeah.
whatever. So I see the difference, but Lala was technically wrong because she goes, I didn't legally change my name and you did. And she's like, I didn't legally change my name, which is true because on the legal documents it says Rachel.
Right, I know.
So.
But then Lala just like, I mean,
She's
it's
like, never mind.
It's
Fuck
just
off. Who
yeah,
cares?
it's just like you know what you mean. Give up. Like it's just dumb. And that was a prepackaged thing that Raquel thought would hit really hard,
Right.
saying that Lala has also changed her name or whatever. It just fucking
Yeah.
sucked.
I mean, she's just not good at it. Again, with the proper ammunition, maybe, or the
Could have been
proper
wielded
delivery service.
right.
But,
Could have been wielded by somebody better.
They talk about how Sandoval told his mom. He said she was extremely surprised and said, "This is not good."
Not good. Not good, my boy.
Not good.
I, as your mom, officially declare this not good.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah. Andy goes, "What did they think of her?" And Ariana goes, "She's a whore." And then Sandoval goes, "Yeah, they said she's a whore."
His one actually funny moment, the entire
It was
thing.
very funny
that-
to imagine.
Sandoval goes, yeah, they said she's a whore, which it was pretty good comic timing. You got to give him
Yeah.
credit there. He got one funny moment the entire time.
It was funny.
But then he keeps saying they're standing by that his mom only met Raquel in Los Angeles because he doesn't want to have the timeline be distorted that he
Yeah.
actually brought Raquel to St. Louis.
Right.
And that's when she
You
met
can
her
tell
parents.
he's lying because he goes like, yeah, like at like gigs, like
And Schwartz and Sandy's, he says.
yeah. So then this is where he admits that their full-on relationship started
Yep.
in January. Schwartz confirms and says that's when he first mentioned LOVE.
Yep. LOVE.
And then Angie goes, where do you think you guys will be in a year? And I think this is when Raquel says, too soon to tell.
Right.
But then James goes, in a poop house. In a house made of fucking dog shit. A poopy, stinky poop house. And then Sandoval is even kind of laughing. He's like, I would like to see that. And he goes, you're used to living in shit, aren't you? Creeper, poo-poo head, both of you, poo-poo heads. Truly threw me for a loop. I was like, I had to rewind it like 40 times to write it down correctly.
Did he get exhausted of the insults he wanted to say? Or what do you think?
First of all, what is a poop house? What is a poopy, stinky poop house?
I'll take, if he would have said, in a fucking house made of dog shit, that would have been the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. That is great.
Yeah.
That's perfect. But he had to get there with poop house, which doesn't make sense. And Ariana goes, poop house. And Andy goes, enough with the poop house. Lisa can't stand it.
A poopy, stinky poop house.
So he got to a good level. He goes, in a poop house, in a fucking house made of dog shit. That hits hard. That's great. But then he goes, stinky poop, poop poop, poo poo, and it's just like, okay, it just devolves completely.
It's so funny.
Yeah,
though.
it is really silly.
So then they bring up like what Schwartz said when he found out. He said that he thought this information, this secret, was combustive and nuclear.
Yeah.
And Ariana, she corrects him multiple times throughout this where he describes it as humiliating for her, and she goes, I am not humiliated, they are humiliated. And she says that she's glad it was nuclear because it's what they deserved. And then Lala starts going on about how she loves Ariana dearly, and Sandoval goes, you don't love Ariana dearly. And she goes, I do love her dearly, enough to eat her cookie in the back of your car, which is a callback.
Yep.
But I get how, again, I'm not trying to be like anti-Lala. I just feel like people can never get a word in. So I feel like I need to like retroactively like call her out.
No, you're right.
But I'm like, yeah, since when are you guys so close?
Also, season 9, like I hesitate to bring it up, but we have to because we're journalists. But season 9, at the end of it, Lala and Ariana like hated each other.
Yeah.
Lala calls Ariana a troll. And it makes fun of her.
I was born fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's where that came from.
Yeah, and makes fun of like how Ariana talks, and Ariana makes fun of Lala. Like they were like not good at the end of season 9, and it feels like they repaired their friendship, but they're not like ride or die best friends.
And Sandoval calls Lala a bandwagon rider, which I hate to say it, but I kind of agree that it seems like, so she's now best friends with Randall's ex-wife. She's very close with Oliver's ex-wife. Now she's very close with Ariana. And I'm like, it really does seem like she's like scorned women's club, first wives club, like prefers people once they've been hurt.
Yeah.
Or like broken down.
Yeah, you hate to give Sandoval credit, but 10% of the bandwagon rider comment hits hard for me. I mean,
right, because he's like, I was there before and you weren't there.
Yeah,
so
like he knows Ariana and Lala's relationship, I assume, better than us.
Yeah.
So yeah, give him. I mean, not a point. I'm not going to give him a full point. Maybe a 1/10 of a point for that.
Sure.
He got one little dart out.
Yeah, but she doesn't care, so it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter at all.
They take I guess, is this when Raquel leaves?
Raquel ends it on, I'll just say it. She finally says something profound. She was able to bring all of the power of her brain, and it culminated in one of the most powerful...
Was that Charlotte the dog trying to end our podcast?
That was so scary. Our podcast, it's okay. It's just, it was the end of our thing. I guess we've just
surpassed our longest time ever because, right?
Yeah, we're keeping that in, by the way. It was right as I was going to say. I got shocked. And
it's really the dumbest. Are going to surpass 3 hours, huh?
It's the dumbest moment. Well, yeah, it was all that. I was just saying, she goes, I now realize how much my actions affect other people. Yeah. I have to go now. Goodbye. Okay, standing up. It's like, damn, Raquel. Yeah. God damn.
Yeah, she kept saying, I think she said multiple times that she historically has been such a people pleaser that then when she tried to no longer people please, she could only please herself.
Yeah, it's I guess. Yeah, I have no clue. But the fact that that's how she like left us and left the world, that was her final note. I just learned now that what I do affects people or could potentially affect people.
Right.
Like, damn.
It's like a kindergarten lesson.
Oh my God. And that's what she just, okay, goodbye.
Bye.
Sheena's coming back now.
Yeah, and then Ariana goes, go give her a kiss. She loves those little rat kisses.
I like that. Those little rat kisses. Ooh, go kiss each other. Let me just. Oh, your volume's actually good. You were barely registering, and then you're hitting now.
That ghostly interlude woke me up.
Me too. That scared me. That was crazy. Okay, yeah, it's a little. Oh, and then we get. I didn't like seeing this.
Hanging out backstage, disgusting. He goes. Sandoval says, I thought you did really good, way better than me.
And Raquel goes, I don't know. I wasn't that good out there.
You have stuff on your face, and starts like lovingly like wiping like cobwebs or whatever were on his face, which is so offensive. I'm like, no one wants to watch this footage.
Yeah, and why did he
Please
have
stop.
cobwebs all in his hair?
I don't know.
And then she says, I don't want to be a person that hurts other people being portrayed like this. And he goes, I know. He goes, that really sucks, dude.
He goes, people think we're the most evilest people.
Like, what happened to them? They can't speak anymore? I thought Tom Sandoval was at least mildly intelligent.
Right.
He's, like, lost it.
No,
Evilist?
they've lost it in there. She goes, that line that James said about Allie being an upgrade really got me. And she was like, honestly, right now, she is an upgrade. And they both are like, and I'm like, you guys are so desperate to like have a laugh that you are coming off truly deranged.
That's exactly what I thought. It was like, you guys are so desperate to have any sort of camaraderie or have any sort of fun that you laugh at how awful you guys are.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that Raquel was the most hurt, or even that's the thing she's remarking on after a torrent of what Ariana did to her, and that's the thing that hits her the hardest, is ridiculous.
Right. And then the producer comes in and is like, you must evacuate the premises.
Get her out of here. 100 yards, a restraining order. Yeah. So, and then
It was interesting that she decided to change on camera, which I saw this online. Her outfit was a two-piece. Did you see that coming?
No. A two-piece, like
she slid the bottoms off and put sweats on, and then she put the top on. I thought it was a dress, but it was two pieces.
I didn't know that.
And then, was this an extra bonus? Lala, in the in-between, asks Ariana, she's like, let me just posit this scenario. If Sandoval would have told you, I'm having feelings for Raquel, I'm just having inappropriate feelings, I'm starting to lean into something that might be bad, like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Ariana says, I would have said, either we're done right now or you never see her again. Which, do you think that's true? Do you think that's what she would have said?
I think so. I mean, I think that if you found out that your significant other was having feelings for someone in the friend group, I don't think you would want them around. I think you would just have to make the call there. And I thought that was a good, insightful question from Lala, and I was glad to hear it.
Yeah.
And she said I would have been mad.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been mad, but not obviously
As
not
upset.
nearly as mad.
Yeah.
But no one would have ever done that. Like, that's a nice hypothetical scenario, but no one could have ever done that.
Totally.
But I liked seeing that moment. And then we got another huge moment in the pumped up version. I cannot believe they didn't want that in.
I know.
In the Bravo edition.
Totally.
Lisa says, my boy, Sandy, I got a restaurant with you, buddy, and you are not coming off good. Can you please just maybe pump up the emotion a little bit and appear sad? She's like, I know you love these people, and I know you're sad, but it is not reading well.
Yeah,
so can
like,
just...
Yeah, she's like, we've seen you angry, we've seen you defensive, we've seen you, like, beat down, but we need to see you being sad and apologetic and crying, basically.
Like, please. And he is crying here.
Yeah. He's, like, sobbing.
He's sobbing.
Like, at least try. And then with, true emotion, he's really upset. He goes, I wish I could have a real conversation with Ariana, but I can't. And then LVP is, like, seriously crying. Mm-hmm. She's, like, so upset for him. And he's like, I'm not a serial killer, dude.
I'm not a serial killer, dude. Yeah, and he takes that pep talk to heart. I mean, Andy like, oh, I mean, we won't get there, but are we there yet? No, it's at the very
Soon.
end. Yeah.
The only thing in between is they show Raquel. It's like Sheena comes back.
Oh, right. I loved it when Sheena was back.
They do a little montage of her crying about being too old for pageants.
Yes.
So it's like you cried multiple times about no longer being able to do pageants, but we haven't seen you cry about this.
And they show her, she's breaking down twice about the pageants and didn't shed one tear about this. That was a great
Peter got
edit.
a little appearance because they have that horrible date where she cries about the pageants, and he's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Sheena says... Andy says, are you guys going to have another baby? Lisa's like, you must have another one of those.
Yeah.
And Sheena goes, no time soon.
Yep.
So we'll see about that. James says that he's certain that Imagine Fest will hire him back again.
He's certain.
Certain.
It's probably happening.
Yep. Schwartz says there's a 5% chance of him getting married again, but probably not.
I fully believe that.
Yeah.
I do not
He
think.
never wanted to in the first place.
Yeah, he's never going to get married
It was
again.
an ultimatum
He says
based
he gets very
marriage.
introspective. He goes, I'm going to love a lot. I'm going to live a happy life. And then what else does he say? And I'm going to die as an old man. No, I don't,
Yeah.
But he gets
Looking
pretty
back.
philosophical about his life.
Yeah. Katie says that she would maybe get married again, but probably wouldn't have a wedding.
Yeah.
She says she does not have a dying wish to be a mother.
Yeah.
She says that she can just be a cool aunt, and that maybe she'll travel the globe and like fuck a new guy every month. And Lisa Vanderpump says, sounds like a lot of work. And she's like, it sounds awesome.
I like that I like that vision for Katie. It kind of made me sad a little bit. Just because we haven't talked, like this was the divorce season between Schwartz and Katie.
Yeah.
And it didn't get talked about enough at the reunion. You know, this is like the dissolution. So them talking about their separate lives, I know that they were the worst couple in history, but still it was kind of sad that they are just like so removed from each other now that they're not in each other's lives.
Right.
And he really spoiled the ground, between
Totally.
them. And yeah, just them having these separate
know.
visions for life kind of did make me sad a little bit. I don't know why.
Yeah, and after seeing him at Pride and like
Oh.
just being around like the gaggle of girls, I was like, oh, actually, he's never gonna grow up. Like, again, I want to give him benefit of the doubt because I'm like, what if he did meet someone that is also cool and like a better fit for him, that they fight less and have a better relationship? Maybe he could learn from his previous relationship.
Right.
And it's like, in actuality, like, he's probably just gonna like be with party girls
Yeah.
for like a long time.
Getting that glimpse that we got of what his life is like when he's just out in the wild made me a little worried for him.
Yeah,
It was a little odd,
totally.
unfortunately.
Yeah. So then, this is where Sandoval is sobbing.
He goes for it. He said, he's legitimately sobbing, but he
Totally.
takes Lisa's note to heart, her advice to heart. I'm not going to be so pessimistic.
Yeah.
Advice.
Yeah.
And he breaks down, crying. He says, I fucked up. I'm human. I made a mistake. I will always love you. He's, bawling, crying, bawling. I will always love you, and I will always be cheering you on from afar. Sad. I mean,
Totally.
it made me sad.
Yeah, he said that he hurt somebody that he has never loved more in his entire life. And you can tell if you look very closely that she believes him.
Yes.
Yes. Like
yes.
she's keeping a stone face, but you can tell that there's like a glimmer in her eye of like that he got through to her a tiny bit.
Yes. My wish, and I know it's not up to me and it's fully Ariana, and I want whatever she wanted out of that reunion, but as a viewer and as a fan, and I wish there was one moment where Ariana just looked at Sandoval and spoke to him. I know she said she would never speak to him again, and I understand, and it's toxic, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But there was never one moment of cross talk between them where they actually spoke to each other one last time, and I understand why. I guess it's just selfish as a viewer, demonic, diabolical, subhuman of me to think about this. But I did just wish that his words were directly responded to, and they actually did have that one last moment. But she does respond to him, but it's a general note.
Yeah.
What she says.
Yeah. And then she has her closing remarks. She says she thanks the group by name. She lists everyone. She's like, and Lisa, and you to Andy.
Yeah, no, she didn't include Sandoval.
Right. For their support. And she goes, I will not forgive him, and I will not be cheering him on from afar.
And he sort of nods. He's in tears, but he nods. He's
Yeah.
you understand that's the case,
Yeah.
right? She's
She
not
at least, she said, like, I do not accept, but she didn't dig in again. She kind of, she said, I won't be cheering for you, but she left it at that. She didn't get into the flowery
yeah, she was
devil language.
she was done.
Yeah.
She had spent every insult known to man at him. I do wish there was that moment, but I understand. Not good for Ariana probably to
Right.
directly talk to him.
Yeah.
And then Andy sums it all up, right?
Well, Lisa says,
Oh, right.
quickly, she says,
Sorry.
she wants what you want. She says, in the future, maybe we can have a little bit of kindness and compassion.
Yeah.
And Andy's like, people are going to need some time.
Yep. I think a little bit of time. And and then Andy congratulates them on 10 great seasons. This season blew our minds. I mean, he is not wrong. 10 iconic seasons. Then he goes, let's all take our classic photo together that we always take,
Yeah.
which I've never seen before, ever. And
No
you
shots.
no shots. You see Sandoval. Sandoval's just like in this photo. Like, I really want to see that photo.
know.
Where Sandoval's that close to Ariana, like 3 people away.
Yeah, and he had just been sobbing.
Yeah, and they say, James sings the theme song
Yeah,
to
he
Vanderpump.
walks away and he's like, these are the best days of our lives.
Somberly, they say that was the most downbeat ending to a reunion ever.
Yeah.
No celebration.
Yeah.
It was sad. It was
Yeah.
like we had just left a awful place, and you're just glad to be done.
Yeah, they all go their separate ways. It shows them each like getting in their cars. It doesn't look like they're doing anything after. They're just probably so exhausted.
Racing out of there. Yeah.
Yeah. Like even I was kind of surprised Ariana gets in her own car. I
Yeah.
would assume maybe like her and Katie or her and Lala or like someone would go with her, but no.
No.
She just went home. Maybe her fun friends were waiting for her at her house. And then we get 6 days later.
No. Yes. And I'm just going to say up front, this bombshell was a bombshell for me. I
Yeah.
know that people already were skeptical of the timeline. I know people knew that they were more devious than we ever even assumed. But just hearing Raquel lay out that this was a lie that they had concocted together and every detail of it was a lie. That whole reunion was basically bullshit.
Yeah. Do you think her producer, the one that coaxed all of these truths out of her, got a little bonus?
Oh, he killed it. Andy, she lied to Andy.
Yeah.
Andy couldn't get it out of her.
Yeah.
Andy couldn't
his
get it.
one-on-one. Yeah.
A producer got it. She felt so bad.
Well, she must have been so broken down over
Yes.
that following week where
Yes.
like everyone was just like railing
Exactly
into her.
right. Exactly right.
Yeah, she was like, I don't want to lie anymore.
It's also probably hard to keep a bunch of lies. Sandoval's good at it. No, he kind of sucks at it. But Raquel,
Sandoval's a liar.
Sandoval's a liar. He really is now. We found out he's one of the worst liars in history. Even I didn't think he lied this much,
Yeah.
this bad.
Totally.
Awful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll just go into the points quickly. It's basically just bam, bam, bam. They fucked in August. The one-night stand was not a one-night stand. They fucked in Mexico twice. He was stumbling around drunkenly looking for the elevator, going, Raquel, Raquel. And then she goes, come in here, big boy, and let's fuck at Sheena's wedding. Disgrace.
I could picture it perfectly because, as I've mentioned a million times, I went to a very similar resort
Right.
in
You
February.
don't know where the hell you are.
And it's so confusing. The hallways are like haunted, and every like wing of the hotel looks exactly the same. So if I was fucked up like him, I would be lost as well. But it's so funny that she heard him, and he was like talking to the staff at the hotel and was like, "Where is the elevator?" And she goes, "Sorry, sir, he's really drunk.
Yeah.
Come on in."
Yeah, and I'm imagining him just like alone, drunken, stumbling in this Cancun resort or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they had sex. And then
multiple times.
Mul-
Multiple.
multiple. Okay. And then it doesn't end there. That there is no gap.
Picked up speed after filming. So September on. She tries to lie about St. Louis.
First she goes, did you meet the producer's so smart.
Yeah.
Goes, have you met her mom? Raquel goes, yeah, I did. In LA, obviously. I mean, that's the only time we would have met. The guy goes, are you sure? He goes,
He's like, your face. I see your face.
he goes, are you just going to say it? You were in St. Louis, weren't you? And she goes, I've got the worst poker face.
She goes,
yes.
I can't recall.
I can't recall. And he goes, come on. You've already been so good about telling
He's
the
like,
truth.
fuck it. Come on.
Dude,
Cat's out of the bag. Who cares?
It's awful for you. Just say it. And then they show
The picture.
photo of
Where's
her-
that photo from?
I guess a friend. I asked Megan. I go, when did this photo come out? I was like, damn, this.
Yeah.
She actually did go to St. Louis. I guess someone was there, or a friend got given that photo or something and
Okay.
just released it, like leaked it or
Okay.
something. So yeah, she's lying. We see that the timeline is wrong, and she doesn't want to lie anymore. But she still continues to try to lie.
Yeah.
To this producer.
Over and over again. She's like, a huge part of me wanted to tell her. This is when she starts getting upset.
This-
And then she says that she was like, she said that she proposed a throuple. She said, I love her and I love him. So I was like, what if we were all together? And
What?
that Sandoval was like, no, that's not a thing.
Wait, Amy, explain this to me. What? Raquel's ultimate goal, what she wanted the most, was to just be a part of their relationship in perpetuity?
That is giving psycho, actually.
Yes. That was really odd. I woke up this morning. I go, did I dream that Raquel, when we were at Junkyard Dogs, you can't even focus? I was like, did she say that she wanted to be just a part of a throuple in their relationship? Like,
Yeah.
that was the best case scenario.
Yeah, like she was like, I could just join your relationship. And the producer was like a throuple? And
Yeah.
she was like, yeah.
That was her goal.
And then she was like, it wasn't really in consideration. Like, actually, it just wasn't really going to happen.
And then
She's like, he's going to kill me. I hate lying so much. Like, and then they show the Ken clip. I can't believe the final time of the season. Maybe Secrets Revealed bonus.
they wanted
episode will
that
have
just
it.
1 minute before the end of this. They just had to show us that clip again because he asks about the jacuzzi night.
Yep.
And they give us that full clip. Everyone cheered at our watch party.
Yeah. She glitches out when they ask. He goes, he's asked me not to disclose. And then she says,
Anything in the
I don't
house.
have anyone else to talk to. So I can't betray him because he's basically all I have left. And she goes, she starts crying. She goes, this is the one story we've agreed on getting straight. She's like so upset. And then this is the zinger. She goes, because it's really a bad look to hook up with someone's boyfriend in their own house when they're out of town for a funeral.
It's awful. It is well, so for me, I got chills. I got chills when you just did your Raquel because it just like she entered the room. It finally, the no emotion and the bullshit that she showed the entire actual reunion.
Right.
It finally, I felt, dawned on her that is what she actually did.
Yeah.
And it's horrific.
Yeah.
It is evil. All the words that
Yeah.
all the words that Ariana said actually fit now.
Yeah.
And I feel like this was the one thing Sandoval could not let out because it is so shattering
Right.
to him as a person.
Yeah.
We already think he's evil. Did I think he was this awful of a person? I did not.
Yeah.
I really did not think he would cheat on Ariana while she was mourning the death of her grandmother. I think this whole timeline bullshit and the gap in it is just to make space
Yeah.
for this thing. That is the one thing he just takes him is a bridge too far for him to admit to.
Yeah.
It is awful. And the fact that it dawns on Raquel, I was horrified.
Yeah.
It just entered her brain.
Yeah.
That was so evil to even speak.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like as it's coming out of her mouth.
Yes.
And then she says, this has fucking killed my soul. I hate being deceitful. It's horrible.
And it's like they're like doing the credits roll on
Yeah.
it, like leaving us with that haunted image.
And it's like I don't want to feel sorry for her, but like
No, I mean
she was so manipulated.
just it's true. It's true. I blame Raquel. She gets she gets all the insults you want to throw at her, but Tom Sandoval is really the one who manipulated. She is vulnerable. She's
Yeah.
vulnerable. We know she can be led astray. Any of
Yeah.
them would admit that. Lala
Yeah.
would admit that. Ariana would admit that. She's easily
Lamb to
manipulated.
slaughter.
Lamb to slaughter. Sandoval sent her to the fucking slaughter. He lied about their relationship with
Yeah.
Ariana. He lied about all the timeline. He said he was breaking up with her. All this shit.
And he
And-
set her up like she then had to go by herself and try and hold up these lies when she was absolutely. I'm surprised she didn't flee then.
Yet the reason why she didn't want to be a part of the reunion is probably because she knew that she could not hold up these lies
Right.
under pressure. It's
Like, why did she even go back?
yeah. So
This producer's really good.
that producer, oh my God, whoever the hell you were, please listen to this, and you killed it. The way
literally
he
just kept
handled
being
it,
like, you don't have anything to lose.
he
like, why not just say everything?
he got her. I mean, Andy Cohen didn't get it.
Yeah.
He got her. I mean,
Where's the Peabody? Give him the
well, I mean,
Peabody.
they're definitely getting an Emmy, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I guess I was naive enough to not realize the depths of horror that Sandoval was able to perpetuate in this whole thing.
It's really fucked.
I still thought there was something redeemable. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's like
Yeah,
Oof.
it's awful, and it's awful, and it was an awful actual way to leave the reunion. I felt awful.
yeah.
I felt like we are still in Scandival. This didn't resolve. It just got worse,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we are moving away from it, but we're in the shadow of Scandival forever because
Yeah.
it just got even worse for us.
Yeah.
The details are worse.
What do you think? Did they show preview from Secrets Revealed? I'm trying to remember.
No, but geez, like, what the hell are you going to do to us now?
Seriously,
Oh.
like, is there going to be like a million little clues that didn't make the cut?
Sandoval calling Terry a bitch.
Oh
Like,
my
are we really going to
God.
have to suffer more?
Ugh.
Yeah, it's awful. I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't want to leave. Like, we have to go, Amy and I. I mean, we're 3 hours and 20 minutes. What the hell are we doing? Nobody's even going to listen to this. 3 hours and 20 minutes. We're so far beyond the limits that we've set for ourselves. We even had our outro music play during this thing.
The ghosts of Charlotte tried to make us stop like 20 minutes ago.
You're going in too far, guys. Come back from the brink.
Also, another crazy thing, my notebook that I used for the first time when we started the podcast is on the last page.
That is so wild. I can't even believe it. So I don't want to go out on the horrible note that we were left with, right?
Yeah.
There is hope. There is a
Right.
future.
We saw this morning that Lisa Vanderpump is getting a Hulu spin-off
Vanderpump
called
Villa.
Vanderpump Villa, that we're still confused about whether or not it actually takes place in France or if they were describing Villa Rosa as a French-style villa. I think it has to be in France just because it says 10 lucky contestants are going to live with her, competing to serve
Yeah.
be at service of the villa, and I can't imagine 10 people living at Villa Rosa, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
But it was the cast announcement was kind of nice that you and I are the first two contestants in the first crop. I like that.
Absolutely.
Are you ready to go to
I'm gonna
France?
book my flight
Yeah.
today.
Let's do New York first, and then see how much money we can spend there, and then spend more money on our France trip if you want.
Okay.
Well, are we? This is a sour note, I guess, but
My body's shutting down.
yeah, we gotta leave. We love you so much. There is a future for Bravo after Scandival. It's gonna
Yeah.
get lighter. The OC is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
New York is gonna be fun, but I guess let's take a break from Scandival, all of us together,
Yeah.
and just let's put the blanket on that, or let's put that in the corner.
Yeah.
Let that collect dust for a little bit. Don't remove the blanket from it for a little bit, and we'll talk about Scandival in the future,
Yeah.
not for a few more
Yeah,
weeks.
but
probably.
we will update you next week. We'll be fresh off of See You Next Tuesday, so we will have our boots on the ground.
Oh.
But that's not really Scandival.
That'll
That's
be
just
fun.
Vanderpump.
Jax and James are together. They're going
Yeah.
to be holding hands. They're going to do that classic pose where the two guys are shaking hands and their muscles are showing.
Yeah.
Jax and James are going to be rocking and rolling, and we're going to have fun. So that will actually be fun.
I hope we can get in.
I'm going to go at 6 p.m., and I said I'm going to handcuff myself to the bar.
You should go at 3 p.m.
Okay. Why?
just to make sure.
Will you go with me? Will you go at 3?
I'll meet you at 6.
Okay, so I have to go 3 hours early. Okay, but anyway, if you're listening to this, we'll see you next Tuesday. We love you, and that'll be a bright spot in our week after the horrors of what we witnessed.
Exactly.
We love you.
Bye.
little turtles,
We
and we're
love
not
you.
and we're not even going to plug YouTube. Please, for the love of God, subscribe on YouTube. Okay, we love you.
Bye.
Oh my god.
My arm is cracked. Okay, get this thing exported. The devil's in this thing.